Okay, that's it. Click live. Let's see what happens. Let's see if I get my chat window to not blow up here. Yeah, we'll set that up. Oh, it's a little relaxing morning with some work, I think. Let me find my, where did I put my browser? Here's my browser. Let's get this browser over here. Let me make sure I got my windows up and stuff. My windows are rolled up. Yes, here we go. I don't want to upload a video. The hell? Come on, YouTube. Stop being a pain in the ass.
A local villager with no formal engineering, led by Shenman training. The residents embarked on a remarkable project led by Shenman.
Wait, where the hell did I?
In 1972, a local villager with no formal engineering training.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, I got to remember my thing here.
Led by.
Let me, What's up? Hey, now let me open up my chat. Hang on, I see you guys in there. Let me pop out chat so I can actually bring it closer to my. I got to come up with some kind of way to get YouTube chat on my main monitor since my whole setup is going to be changed. I got to get chat so I can actually so I don't have to freaking turn my head 900 degrees to read chat. But yeah, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I'm just doing a little editing, just trying to relax this morning and.
Armed with basic arm.
Doing a little bit of
armed only with.
I got three big. What do I got? About 2 hours worth of audio to edit. So figured I'd just chill in here. And in fact, I actually may put on my favorite background music. What is up? The opposite of down. Let's see. Who do we want to listen to today? How about this? And hopefully I'll get a copyright strike because who cares? I think it's this. I think it's Winter. I like this one. Yes, let's turn this one way down, though. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Yeah, I'm just doing a little bit of editing.
The road construction project.
I do, yes. I do. Yes, I do. CJ? No, CK. I got you. I got you. I recognize all those. Come on, I recognize those names.
It's carved directly into the rock. This project took 5. This tunnel, the Guoliang Tunnel Road, the wall, they're crude, but
this is not for Simple History 2, by the way. This is top 5
walls
stuff.
The tunnel's walls.
I think
the tunnel's wall.
Sound like I had a little bit of congestion when I was recording this.
With their crude ship of the villagers, and their crude, but the road's narrowness and lack of safety features make it a.
Yeah, this one is, what am I doing? Houses built in terrible places. That's the name of this one, which is, it was an interesting one, this one. Just houses that are stupid, in stupid places, which is
the
funny.
village itself sits.
You guys are not going to pick up any of this stuff, by the way. Yeah, what was that picture? That was called terrible Photoshop, just because it's so over the top. He has a habit of doing that. The main producer has a habit of doing that on some of the thumbnail images, and sometimes it's just fantastic. Just to see how crazy thumbnails can get sometimes, and he goes over the top, and it's awesome. Because I mean, come on, we all know this. We all know the tricks. Especially, all you got to do is look at Mr. Beast's photos or his thumbnails. Every one of them has his face in some stupid position.
Also known as the.
And that's what gets him as that, and him giving away millions of dollars every 2 seconds. So yeah.
The legend behind the tigers, according to the meditate. He meditated in the tiger's nest. The tiger's nest temple.
Videos is fascinating, especially the one on dangerous roads. We do too many about dangerous roads. I think sometimes because we have a bunch of different scriptwriters. Oh, my neck. Oh. We have a bunch of different scriptwriters for that channel, and it's like you can tell their personalities. They like to talk about, like there's one, he always loves to talk about vehicles and cars and buses and RVs and tractor trailer trucks and roads and anything that has to do with vehicles. And sometimes when one scriptwriter will take a vacation, I sort of notice that we're talking about roads a lot more than we should. Not that we should be, but a lot more frequently.
The hike.
The hike, the hike, the hike.
One step. The hike, while arduous, mirror. There are no rest.
Can you guys hear that music in the background, by the way? Can you hear that? It's so low. It's just, I always got to hear. I need to have that on in the background. That's a good question. I don't know why they wouldn't have one, but it's not the kind of community I think that would benefit from a Discord server, I wouldn't think. Because it's entertainment, you know, educational entertainment, or edutainment, I guess. It's not the kind of channel that, I mean...
With prayer wheel, the temple complex.
I don't think so. Who knows? I'm glad you can hear that good. I try to keep it as low as possible. What is it down there? -40? Yeah, that's pretty good.
All built with... Construction began in the 70s.
I have to have some noise
Trans...
going on in the background when I do editing, or else I'll just drive myself insane, because I don't want to listen to my voice that much.
Number 1, the Volcano House. The
Volcano House.
There's no possible. There's no...
To leave the breaths in or not leave the breaths in.
There's no possible way. This hot house. This...
Hot house, get it?
The Volcano House. Its futuristic design resembles the circular... breath pacing. It was a...
Have I heard of Mouse? Mouse, the German tank mouse? Or Dead Mouse? Or what mouse?
Who sought a unique and isolated... Fairchild's vision was to build the Volcano House. The building's circular mixture of concrete and sand... distant shell. The interior of the Volcano House is just as cool.
Oh, what a pun. What a pun that was.
Its remote location situated, making it a haven for those seeking respite from the noise and distractions of modern living, as long as they don't mind the explosive neighbor next door. I'll see you next time.
All right, that's it for that one. I know I did that one before you guys even jumped on. I was already doing this this morning. And we're just trying to chill. Wait, where's my, there's my live stream. I gotta make sure my chat's nice and big here. No, I don't personally know the narrator from the infographic show. No. We should start a community, just YouTubeNarrators.com, just to see how many people we can get on there, get all the narrators. Boy, that would actually be a fascinating... Imagine that, having a round table, like an Algonquin round table of YouTube narrators. Ooh, that would be an interesting concept, I think. We could have different narrators and stuff. I'll file that in the back of my head. It would take some balls to get that one going. And it would be interesting to see if anybody would actually want to do it, because short of turning it into a sort of like a fan, almost like a fan-based kind of a thing, it would be more for the narrators to talk about stuff on YouTube. It would be actually kind of fun. It'll be fun to hear I'd love to hear different narrators, their experiences working with content creators and having to deal with YouTube limitations and sort of YouTube rules and stuff, or just guidelines that they say, all right, we got to make it kid friendly, so you can't do XYZ content, kind of like what we do on Simple History. But that would be interesting. Maybe I'll think about that. I got to put together a list. I got to get a list of, okay, everybody knows, all right, I want the guy from Ahoy. I'd see if I can get, I forgot his name, on Kurzgesagt. Infographics guy would be good. Oversimplified, that would be amazing. That would be fun. Graphic novel series from the 80s about the author's parents who survived the Holocaust in the Mouses are displayed as Jewish. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I think I have seen that, or at least heard about that. I think I have. That was a while ago, though. All right, let me add a 2.5, 7.1. There we go. Good enough. Oh, Megalodon. I just did this one this morning. That's why my voice is dead.
Sharks are one of the most feared creatures on the planet, but in prehistoric times, sharks were much more scary. Millions of years ago, there was a species of shark that was not only the biggest and most powerful hunter that the Earth has ever seen, but also the most...
That was tongue-tied at 8:30 this morning.
But also the most ruthless... and terrifying.
To leave the breath in or not leave the breath in? Well, let's see. What am I making?
Okay, here we go. Well, let's first mute this. Mute. And we'll start here.
Too much morning. Just not enough morning caffeine, maybe, is what that is.
Facts about them.
Boy, I was all over the place on my levels this morning.
Number 15.
All right, that's my... I gotta get my my preset on here. But I noticed... It's very interesting. I gotta make too many presets. Oh, wait, no, I'm not changing that preset. I'm changing... What am I changing? I am changing this one to -6. This one was -1.5. This is, I know when to reduce the amount of bass in my voice. I have too much bass this morning. Like there's waking up, sometimes it's a little low, so I cut out a lot of bass frequencies, so it's not too muddy, so it doesn't sound too crappy. But I always have to dial on the threshold every time. Every time I...
15 amazing facts. Join me for today's video. We're going to count down 15 amazing facts about...
It was 24. I think it was... Or a -25, we'll say. Anything that goes but down.
Today's video, we're going to count down 15 amazing facts about the Megalodon shark. Number 15, their size. Despite knowing about the huge monster...
God, even in these headphones, I have too many headphones, but even in these, it sounds a little muddy. Well, we'll just leave it alone for now. And we'll do this instead of limiting. I've been coming to the fact that I don't like listening to too much limiting or compression, so I've been trying to minimize stuff that adds a lot of gain up until the very end. So like all of my EQ presets here are all balanced to where it's like a gain scale. Any EQ gain I take away on a certain frequency, it puts it back in overall amplitude, or overall gain, I believe, is how that works. It adjusts it, cutting away the frequency but not cutting away the amplitude, I think is how it is. But I've come to realize that I was over compressing my voice for way too long, or way too much. All right, I gotta start reading questions. What's the most stupidest conversation you've seen you bring up? This one. That's the stupidest conversation. Right there. That one. Infographic or a graphic novel from one of the Star Trek actors about this experience in the Japanese internment camps. Yeah, that would be George Takei. I believe. I believe it was, because I'm pretty sure he was the only Japanese actor that was alive during that time. George Takei is an interesting guy. His political leanings, if I can ignore his political leanings, I can enjoy him as an actor. But when actors start injecting their political stuff, it's like they got nothing better to do. In my opinion, they got nothing better to do. They just, let's get involved with politics. All right, fine. You're an actor. If you want to become a politician, knock yourself out. But you got to open yourself up to a lot of criticism.
Number 7.
All right, so that one is that. We're going to apply that preset. I should chop those peaks off. Screw it. Get Pizza Dog in here. Yeah, sure, go ahead. It's still, is it morning for you? No, it's afternoon for me. Jesus, I've been doing this all morning. Oops, where's my background music? Did I kill it? I killed it. Now, why am I waiting for this? That takes a while to process that. Let's edit this.
And talking about animals that are at the top of the food chain, the Megalodon was in a league of its own. And not only was it the largest, it makes one of them...
I need to change the resolution. No.
It makes the one know of right now, but it makes the ones of today Experts believe that megalodons were able to grow to lengths of up to 60 or 70 feet. That's about 18 to 22 meters.
Too much low end. Too much low end. I gotta deplosive this.
Sperm whale, but much. And they'd have easily text. This made them similar in length to that of a sperm whale, but much, much heavier. And they'd have easily been able.
Take that down.
And they'd have easily been able to take on anything else in the ocean at that time. Great white sharks, which are generally seen as
Oh, look at all this. This must be all me clearing my throat for 9 hours. Yeah, Jesus. Wow.
They even dwarfed the largest.
All right, I can tell. It's gonna be fun to try to match this.
50 times heavier. They even dwarfed the largest of the marine reptiles that were. Shark cartilage doesn't.
That's a tough thing to say. Shark cartilage. Shark cartilage.
It is possible.
Shark cartilage. I can say it with my Mass or my Rhode Island accent. Shark cartilage.
It is possible that.
Where's the shark cartilage? That's like Pakyaka. Pakyaka next to the shark cartilage.
And there have been no other still in there. Standing up to them. It makes you glad that Megalodon aren't still around.
Tekken, of course I've heard of Tekken. I used to play Tekken. That was what? The Tekken was the bastard child of Virtua Fighter in the arcades.
Number 4.
At least that's how it seemed to be. Virtua Fighter was the arcade fighter. And then Tekken really took it over. But Tekken was out on the home platforms, I think, first. That was in the Genesis, was it? Oh, God, I don't remember. Too old. But I know they came out on home consoles and stuff. It was pretty good.
For those that this wouldn't have necessarily killed their target.
You know, I wonder if adding a bit of a reverb to this. Where did I have?
Immediately, but they would have followed them around as long as it took for their victim to weaken to the point where it couldn't resist the attack any longer, and the Megalodon could simply eat it alive. For those that were small enough, the Meg would have taken one bite and swallowed them whole in an instant. There is evidence, too, that the monstrous sharks had teeth that were particularly suited to biting through cartilage, so instead of targeting soft tissue as the great white does, they would have also begun to attack by tearing through their prey's fins, which would have left them unable to swim away, so the Megalodon...
Let's leave that on there, just for a little bit of vocal interest. Virtua Fighter, but Namco absolutely killed on Tekken. Yeah, Namco destroyed them. That's because it was a better experience on the home consoles. Virtua Fighter felt like you were fighting in mud. It was clumsy and just weird. Even though Tekken wasn't that much better, it was infinitely better than the way Virtua Fighter felt at home.
This is a technique.
That was everybody trying to capitalize on the fighting game craze. That was right around the fighting game. Was that Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo or Alpha or whatever the hell came out?
There was number 30. No stopping them.
I don't know if I like that, listening to that reverb. Do I want flat?
No stopping them. Number 13.
My booth is way too flat. It's way too dead. There's not a lot of excitement in there, so.
But this is... You probably know them as Megalodon. You probably know them as...
Well, let's go back and see if it's done processing. It is done processing. And let's do a quick deplosive. Let that run.
It is a fairly...
We're going to bring that down, though.
The oceans. It is...
Top 5s versus top 10s. Wait, there's another... So we just started doing a... There's another channel that he has, which I don't think I link it anywhere. Only because we're still growing it. I mean, I think we have... I think we've got about 800,000 subs on it. I mean, it's one of those top 10 channels, but it's called Daily Top 10s. I think is what we called it. Daily Top 10s. And the funny thing is, we've been doing it for a little bit, and we've been going back and forth between doing the voiceovers and stuff, me and Josh, and it's changed hands. The channel has actually changed hands a few times, it looks like, and now that we have it now, he's been trying his hand at doing some of the voiceover stuff, and he's got a calming voice, Josh. Got a fantastic, nice, calming, relaxing voice, and it seems like we're swapping. He's having me do it, but we just released one. Was that yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Top 20. It was the top 20 something or other. I can't remember what it was, but it's the channel's called Daily Top 10s, but we did a top 20, and it was very interesting. I love that stuff. Who cares by the numbers? Who gives a damn? Stream checked. If you have fire in your voice, warm your listeners. Yeah, that's really, that's like poetry. Thank you. I'm overheating when I'm listening to your voice. If you've got it and you can recognize it, use it, right? That's what it comes down to. If you can recognize it, use it.
So it's not whether the Megalodon belonged to the extinct. So it's not entirely clear, though, whether the Megalodon belonged to the extinct genus
Carcharocles.
Whether the
I can't edit that.
Clear, though.
I have to edit the weather right into the
Megalodon.
I'll edit it on Don. I need
it
easier to edit on a transient.
Whether the Megalodon.
Yeah, that Don will be where I want to go. Let's see if I can.
It's not entirely.
Oh, I did.
So it's not entirely.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, I guess I retook that. Saying genus, species, and genus names.
Species names second. It's not entirely. It's not entirely clear, though, whether the Megalodon belonged to the extinct genus Carcharocles or the genus Carcharodon, which has
good old creative editing.
Or the genus.
Come on, you never noticed that.
As Carcharodon, which has one living member that's still around today, the great white shark.
The great white shark. Guess who's still alive? Holy cow! Hey, Micah, what's going on, buddy? It's nice to see you in here. Stream checked SC, you inspired me to narrate you too. I have a deep voice, but I was ashamed of it. No, shit. Don't be ashamed of your voice. No, don't. No. If you are, that sucks. You know, if you happen to be ashamed of your voice, that's pretty rough. I mean, you just got to learn. Treat it like a skill that you don't have. It's like going in. I remember the first time I picked up a sword. So I've done kenjutsu, Japanese swordsmanship. And I remember the first time I picked up a sword, I'm swinging it around like I'm in an anime and, trying to pretend that I'm all that and everything. And I realized I was just an idiot. I had no clue what the hell I was doing. And I was humbled. I felt ashamed that I thought, hey, I know how to handle a sword. And in fact, I really didn't. And the best advice I got was, it's a skill I don't have right now. But if it's a skill that you want, all you got to do is spend time learning it. That's it. You just have to recognize, do you want that skill? I guess that's with everything in life. If you want to have a skill, just start it. Just do it. Just get in. Dive in. You're going to make mistakes. It's the best way to learn. Everybody knows that. Just jump in. Screw it. Screw what anybody thinks. Just jump in and learn. I'm editing without listening, yes.
This would.
Because I don't need to. It's funny. I can see. I guess you become so used to looking at waveforms and the spectral stuff that you can just see instantly exactly the same waveform, or I don't even need to. I just know I have to cut.
So giving birth
without even thinking about it. Yeah, it's interesting. That's a skill I
Number 11.
didn't think you were ever going to have, or I was ever going to have, be able to
Number 11.
edit visually, or at least look at a waveform and see, okay, this is sibilance, this is a transient. Where should I cut? All that stuff.
Discovered.
And besides, I've been doing it for so long that I know the tempo, the pacing that we're trying to do with the top fives is quick, but not quick like jump quick. That's a different. Actually, that's how I could theorize it with this theory crafting. But so everybody has, I can't remember what it's called, smash cuts, where you've got footage on top of footage that overlap, and then sometimes in order to make it seem a little bit more aggressive and energetic, you can cut the audio on the video clips to where they're sort of overlapping, where the audio from the next clip is jumping on top of the previous clip. We're not doing any of that stuff because we want people to be engaged and relaxed and listen and just sort of kind of veg out, and not veg out, but watch and listen and be relaxed. Too much energy can be a bad thing. And the pacing it's been the hardest thing for me to figure out for other channels. because I'm so used to certain types of pacing. Like the pacing in top fives is way faster than what I do for Simple History. Because Simple History, you got to listen. I mean, if you're not listening, well, what's the point? I mean, you're watching too, but you got to listen to it. So I try to keep everything nice and slow and consistent.
And shed them in thousands of them during their lifetime, and
That's going to be a tough one.
and shed them in a similar way.
I'm talking. Sorry, I should be reading. Tactic Player 83, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, it has been a while. Yeah, it's been a while since I've streamed. I'm actually using this twofold. One, to make sure that... So I got a new camera, and in fact, this whole studio is going to be changing. I don't want to say soon. Hopefully going to be soon. I'm going to be repositioning. I'm sort of stuck in a corner here, which is not good for audio. Well, unless I'm mixing music, which I'm not, but it's not really good for audio. And the background is kind of boring with the acoustic foam and all that stuff and the freaking bass traps, and I got the posters back there. It's not good for that. And since I'm showing my face a little bit more often on Simple History, I want to have a better backdrop. So I'm going to have more of a... I'm just turning this into a studio, really. So on that wall, I have some shelves that I'm going to be putting up where I can showcase off like some of the helmets and some of the props that we have for Simple History. So things are going to be changing, I think, a little bit. That's good for me to get some changes.
Each individual.
Besides, I want this room to sound as good as it can. So even you guys probably can't hear it. Hopefully you can't. This whole setup that I have is trying to minimize the audio, the reflections. Like there's a sound gate that I have that kind of tries to minimize the background reflections. But the treatment that I have in here is pretty solid. So moving this should be fairly straightforward. A little bit more engaging, I think.
Each individual would have grown
At least I hope.
on tens of and shed them in during their thousands of them during their lifetime, and shed them in a
All right, right there.
lifetime, and shed them in a
It's a little rough edit.
and shed them in a similar way. Them in a
We're gonna try on them.
and shed them in a way similar to how modern day
better.
sharks do. In fact, at any
Better. Sorry.
this means that
You never seem to catch you in the right time either. Yeah, dude. No, I know. We still have to do it. We still have to do it. You probably saw it. I think I posted it on my private Discord. Yes, I know. It's my work schedule, I guess you could call it. It's not really a schedule, but my work schedule changes every 3 to 4 days when I get a lot of European producers, and then I come back and it's like the American guys, and then I have to be up at strange hours, so my sleep schedule is always screwed up. Always screwed up. Oops, I just minimized everything. Let's put that back. There we go. But, yes. Who is the CEO? Well, there's no CEO per se, but the owner of the channel, his name is Dan Turner. He and I have been involved together since pretty much the beginning. I think maybe a month or two after he started pushing out some of the content, he reached out to me, and we sort of started from there.
and it only
Now we got a bunch of different people, but
And it only-
Dan Turner, he's the owner of the channel. Yeah, I am not the owner of the channel, even though I'm heavily involved with the
this
channel.
mark the teeth would have this would have enabled the Megalodon until they were too weak. Number 10.
All right, let me save that real quick, and we'll go to this one to make sure. That's way too hot. Way too hot. I don't know why I did that. Put it up to 1. I think I do that for when I'm listening on headphones. Actually, yeah, it's not too loud. 20 lufs. That's actually a little hot, but we like to try to keep it pretty neutral.
Having bad neighbors or living in a rough neighborhood happens to many people, but the houses in today's video have been built in the absolutely worst places imaginable, like on the sides of cliffs or in the middle of massive highways. So for today's video, we're going to count down 15 houses built in the most terrible places.
Why did I say most terrible? See, that's the script. I get the script and I just read it, and I try not to edit too much while I'm reading it. But the most terrible, I guess you can say the most baddest, whatever. One thing, here's a fun thing. Hey, welcome back. Here's a fun thing you guys can know about me, especially as a voice actor, when you're getting into putting your voice out there. Everybody has a fear or not a fear. They have a sort of a goal. I want my voice to sound deep and projected, and I want to be like the narrators that sound amazing. And you put on a fake voice, and you over process it, and you just overdo it on the processing. And I was definitely guilty of that. My signal chain and sound has changed quite a bit since the beginning, but I started realizing probably recently, within the last year, I want to start leaving a little bit more imperfections, clicks, mouth noise. My mouth noise must be terrible for you guys because I'm drinking like this coffee. It's got cream in it, and it's all this blech, wet sound, and it's annoying to hear in excess. But when a little bit of it is left in, it actually can be pretty good. Like I used to run the hell out of a D-Click plugin that I used to have, and it would sterilize my voice pretty good. But I noticed that over time, I think to go up against some of the, not to go up against them, but to address the elephant in the room, which is an AI or a synthetic voice, they can put breaths in and plosives and things like that. But mouth noise, the clickies, that ASMR stuff. The ASMR stuff is something that I'd be interested to see how an AI or a simulated voice would do that, because it could help distinguish a human from an AI voice a lot easier than you'd think. So, yeah. All right, let's save that one. Good old MP3. All right, I'm pontificating. Sorry. Can you teach this thing or sound editing? I'm new to it. Ask me more questions, like sound editing. That's too big of a topic. Like what specifically? The recording process, or do you mean the mixing process, or do you mean like what you see right now? This is just dialogue editing. This is me just going in and cleaning up timing, removing breaths, and declicking and deplosiving where you pop the mic. That's basically what I'm doing now. Sound editing is a whole other thing. I have a few videos I think I did when I was doing some of the Pantheon Rise of the Fallen stuff, which is a lot of interpretive stuff, where levels need to be, how to fade out, or how to sort of automate a certain type of process that you want to implement. If I want a gruff sounding voice and the actor, or me, hasn't done a good enough job to put enough emotion into it, or to whatever, there's ways to sort of add some things, add some effects to a voice, saturation and distortion and things like that, to give it a little bit more of an edge, sort of. How long does it to edit sound? So let's just say voiceover, for example. If you're talking about like YouTube content, which I have plenty of experience with. So for example, okay, so this one that I'm working on now, this took me 33 minutes to read with all the mistakes, 33 minutes. Now I know I'm streaming, so it's taking longer because I'm stopping. I should have been done with this one by now. 33 minutes. When I first started doing this, and I had a 33-minute audio file, which was very rare, it would take me an hour plus to edit it down to where it was ready to go. Now, after many years of figuring out, and here's the best part, keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts, like you're playing like you're adding macros for a video game, hugely important to understand your keyboard shortcuts. Your workflow is based on those keyboard shortcuts and how much you can improve. There's different recording techniques like punch and roll, which I don't do. I'm a clicker. But this 33 minutes should take me half that. It should take me 15 minutes to edit this down, and it's saved as an MP3 or whatever the file format is that the producers want, and it's ready to go. It's ready. It should take me half the time. That's the editing, recording editing when you're a voice actor or a self-produced voice actor. That's the ratio that determines whether or not you can be profitable. So if you have a voiceover that's taking you 10 minutes or 5 minutes to record, if I record a video script for a radio show or something, I'm doing this one for a financial company, and it's a disclosure. It's like a financial disclosure, and it will take me 2 minutes to record it, and well, I would say 3 minutes. It's 30 seconds long, and I do 3 takes, and I edit together, which that should take me no longer than the amount of time it took me. 2 or 3 minutes, and I should be done. Because I'm self-directing, I'm self-editing, and I know all the shortcuts to make things nice and quick. So that's a tough question to answer, but when you're starting out, it will be different until you start to research workflow. What's the workflow improvements? Workflow process? Yeah, when you get your process down. Yeah. That really does help quite a bit. That was a long-winded answer, sorry. That was a long-winded answer. Narrate about YouTube. What do you mean?
The scholar,
Viking motif. Yeah, there's a bunch of music that he uses that is licensed, that he uses over and over and over again. Yeah, that's actually one thing I haven't brought up. I was always curious about if he's got like a certain playlist or something, or ones that he's licensed, because YouTube's a pain in the ass with using copyrighted music. Like, this is at a level, this is Jeremy Soule, this is Skyrim background music. And if I was making money on my own YouTube channel, which I'm not, this would probably get a copyright strike. But I think I have it at a loud enough volume to where it's not necessarily registering a copyright strike, because I've used this before and I haven't really gotten any strikes or whatever. Yeah. Twitter being rebranded as X. Okay. Fine by me. I mean, it is what it is. I think it was kind of silly, not needed. I don't think there was anything wrong with Twitter. I think I understand why they were trying to do it, because if you think about it, what's the pulse? What's the pulse of the nation about Twitter? It's, vitriolic. There's a lot of dissension and divisiveness, and it's like left versus right, and it's too political, and sometimes making a change to disassociate an existing set of feelings that somebody might have. Same thing what they did with Meta. You're trying to disassociate the old, and you're trying to rebrand the new. I think, hey, I was waiting for it to happen, for him to change it, because I think we all knew it was coming, that he was going to do something with it, but I didn't expect it to be it's kind of silly. X. I mean, I think they could have done something a little bit better than X. It's cool, but nah. Me being a Gen Xer, I mean, come on, really? X. What the hell does that even mean?
or
I gotta edit. I'm editing, not pontificating.
It wasn't until upon examining, he pondered curious glossopetrae. He pondered and this line of teeth became so deeply embedded within the surrounding rock layers. And this,
I guess the outtakes are better.
Which is the study of
listening to me make mistakes. Normally, I don't swear a lot during these things, but occasionally I'll read something that's not really cool. Make a short narration explaining what YouTube is and about it. Like that, who the hell would want to watch that? If you don't know what YouTube is, come on.
And though,
come on, that's not good. Drawing a few months ago, a lot of background music, but never got covered. Yeah, it depends on if you're trying to monetize stuff. Like, I noticed that when I do, what did I choose? I think the category was education that I chose in this one. But sometimes when you choose like gaming, let's say, or gaming, and you use certain music, it seems to trigger more copyright strikes.
In essence, the ancient today. Number 9. Today. Number 9. It lived.
Anyway, yeah. DXC, hey, buddy, what's going on? Wait, what time is it? That means it's 5 p.m. for you, if I'm not mistaken. No, 6 p.m. for DXC, I think.
The fancy might make for a great story, but unfortunately, it never happened.
Oh, I screwed that one up.
The fanciful idea
Wow, now I need to listen to how I screwed that up.
The fanciful idea that at some point in history there were epic battles between the colossal Megalodon and the fearsome T-Rex might make for a great story, but unfortunately it never happened.
Well, yeah, why did I edit that? Why did I do that? Stupid idiot.
The fanciful idea that at some point in history there were epic battles between the colossal Megalodon and the fearsome T-Rex might make for a great story, but unfortunately it would have never happened. The creature...
Maybe that's what it was. Intonation, a little change, a little tempo.
The creature...
It's nearly 7 o'clock. Oh boy, Jesus. Well...
Meaning their path...
There's no Dutch today.
Surprising.
No Dutch in this one.
Surprising. World. Surprisingly, and were around.
Eastern Europe.
This time frame places them, even after their disappearance from the process of their evolution.
Where's the Russian people? What time is it in Russia? Actually, it must be like way screwed up time in Russia. You should have gone to bed 25 hours ago? Yeah, probably. Probably should have done that.
A number of their traits have been passed on. The story of the Megalodon, of the ebb and flow on Gotta get that right. Gotta get that right again. I think that was one of those sentences that when you see the word ebb and flow in a script, you want it to be musical, the tempo. And that's when, I think when I was recording this line, hold on, let me play. I was recording this line, I had the internal metronome going on this one. So the story of the Megalodon serves as a reminder of the ebb and flow of life on Earth. Species rise and fall, shaped by the ever-changing forces of the planet. And while they are now extinct, they were around for far longer than we current. And while they are now extinct, they were around for far longer than we currently have been. Yeah. And while they are, I guess that's, God, now that I'm thinking about why I do or how I do that, that's something you learn. You hear different voices doing that, where there's a cadence and a tempo and a sort of a musicality to it. And I enjoy that. When I finally get a good sentence like that, I want to make it. I just want to make it into a rhythm section. The Megalodon. Can't even pronounce Megalodon. I've been pronouncing it for the last 20 minutes. The Megalodon can lay claim to, but anyway, yeah, that's it. 8 o'clock in Moscow. Is it 8 o'clock in Moscow? Wow, it's that far behind? Oh wait, ahead. Yeah, it's ahead for me. I'm behind. One that was possibly even. Of course, this is just a theory because by adding the jaw, such as the great white, when they ran the number, which would be enough. Which basically would be enough to chew through a small car. This would make it the most to have been studied. This would make it and eclipses the 8 punch and roll. People with the punch and roll. I can't imagine punch and roll being faster than what I'm doing now. I've tried it. I cannot get it. This may also hint because my brain doesn't work that. Punch and roll is too slow for me. It's too slow. I don't want to have to sit there and press a button and it goes back 2 seconds and I hear the audio and then I come in. I can't do that. It's too slow. I need to say it again. I need to get it out of my face. Through these defenses, this may, and this offers me way more control on pacing too. Because it would have required because I guess technically if you have a separate editor, if the availability punch and roll might be okay because they can determine the pacing, but nah, no thanks. No, I tried punch and roll. I just can't get into it. Cannot do it. This is even faster. Though Megalodon were in the water, they existed during. These include somewhere. Unless I was doing. Whoa. They existed during. These include somewhere. Was that a burp? Oh, that was a burp. I can tell by the waveform. That was a burp. Let's listen to the burp. These include somewhere between an estimated 10 to 60 other species of megatooth sharks, such. That's right. I should just leave those in. I should leave those burps in during a simple history episode. But they would have been. God, that would be great. Just burp.
This game, or this video, is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends, and just go. Stream check, man. See ya. Discord is so complicated. Discord? Really? Discord? No, it's not. It is kinda, but not really. It really isn't. I mean, once you're part of a channel, the only thing complicated, and I wish they would make this change, is what they call the onboarding process. It's our Discord is strict. The simple history one is. My personal one isn't, but the Discord, it's not necessarily hard. It shouldn't be hard. You just have to answer some questions. Because if you're a community server and you're educational, you have to sort of put in some checks and balances so people are not going to be using it for things that a lot of other Discord servers are used like. But it is complicated. I will give you guys that. Starting to join something, there's a lot of dumb hoops. It's not standardized. You can customize it and change it. So if you join one Discord server, they may have certain process where you got to verify. Oh, I got to click a thing to verify. And then some don't have that. And the onboarding process is, in my opinion, it needs a redesign. It needs a rework.
Surprisingly, though, the Leviathan...
They have gotten better.
Leviathan
Are
never a sperm whale. The Leviathan melvili. Sperm... The Leviathan melvili. Name...
Yeah, it is hard. It is kind of hard. I hate saying
The first fossils of this species named prey, and the melvili.
Discord is an interesting media aggregator. Well, it's not really an aggregator, but it's an interesting social. It is social media. I guess it's kind of like a blend between social media and message boards and stuff.
It's therefore more than likely that the two animals would have faced off against each other and competed, and the melvili was probably the only prey, and the melvili was and the melvili was probably a fully grown adult megalodon. During this stage of their life, they'd have been preyed upon by this would have been a much...
Boy, what a change I did there. What is that?
And this would have been much more...
And this would
have been...
Why I did that.
Number six.
Brain works in a funky way, I guess.
6. The diet.
You mentioned once that you get some of the foreigner words and location pronunciation from Google Translate. Yes, help having some consultants who speak language. So there is. I do have some people that I can reach out to, but it's rare these days that I haven't been exposed to something that I don't have a reliable resource for. There are bad channels and good channels on YouTube that will help you with pronunciations. Most of them are bad. But there's sites, there's actually one called, it's 4VO. I think it's 4vo.com or 4vo.org, or net, or whatever. It's 4VO, and it's a site specifically to help with things like pronunciations. So where you can learn different... You actually get to vote, and people can vote on, does this pronunciation actually really close, or is it really bad? And that way it helps you determine, okay, this guy's wrong or he's not close. Google Translate is a great place to start. But for languages like, I found that Turkish is one that I get a lot of words in Turkish for some reason, and that one seems to be okay, but there's a lot that is just wrong in the Google Translate version. Not a lot, but it's more wrong than often right. But all the major Romantic languages, French and Italian and all that, Portuguese, they're all almost nearly perfect. I'm gonna get a good place to start if I hear something from Google Translate.
Making them their prey and eating shark. Their
prey, blah.
Their prey.
My voice gets warmer every year because I'm getting older. I'm just getting older. It's changing. I mean, it's what happens. It gets drier and more saturated. In fact, if you look on screen, you see up at this, so this bottom bit, if you guys don't know what that is, it's a spectral, all the orange and the purple and the red colors down at the bottom, that's a spectral frequency display. And that shows at the bottom, it shows all the bass in my voice. And you can see those white squiggly lines, right? They're all deep, it's all down there. This is 20 hertz, which is like sub bass, which is like thump dance music. And these squiggly lines indicate this bottom one indicates the fundamental frequency in my voice. And the fundamental frequency has been pretty consistent. That's why they call it fundamental. It's been pretty consistent my entire life, where you'll see it dips down. If we zoom in down like really low stuff, 100 hertz, even below that, 80, 70 hertz, sometimes it dips down really low. That fundamental stays pretty much consistent. But as I'm aging, up at the top, up near, I would say 7K up, all this junk, all this stuff, which is sibilance, all the kind of sound. See all these little purpley chunks? These purpley chunks and bits. Those are changes in my vocal cords, which is kind of what you would call, well, it's kind of like a saturation, where there are bits of my vocal cords that are hitting. It's now new. They're new bits that are sort of hitting while they're vibrating, and it's creating all this extra little sizzle at the top end. And as you get older, your vocal cords start to change, and they develop more of this as you use it. So what happens? As you use it, it develops this texture like sandpaper, and that's what's happening. It sounds drier as you age, and that's where it comes from. But I've noticed, just from looking at my spectra over time, it just has changed to the point where I'm like, okay. And even this, if you guys see this, I love this line. This is centered around, I know the exact frequency because I looked into it. So there's a band here, this long band on the screen. So that long band is way up there. Now, if I were just to solo that and play it, you'd never hear it. Like well, you can. Well, let me do this. I don't know if you guys can hear that over the music. But that particular sound is what you would call a throat nodule. There's a larger bump that's on one of my vocal cords that has started to produce this band when I use sibilance. And I know exactly where it lives. That never used to be there. That developed about 2 or 3 years ago. So, yeah, it's actually kind of interesting. It's actually kind of interesting to be able to spot changes in your vocal frequency response visually, to sort of see what's going on. But it happens to everybody, so I can't complain too much about it, and I just have to use it to my advantage, and maybe that'll change the kind of content that I start doing, and I could do whiskey commercials.
They likely.
I'm not going to do cigarette commercials, but
They likely.
But I might. Who knows?
Fossil evidence and bite marks on various marine moraines.
Marines.
Fossil evidence and
Marines. Dragon Agey. Yeah, I guess I could see that. It's whatever you find. Whatever I found, that the combination of having that kind of dry sound and the deep fundamental works for me. Works for the type of content that I enjoy, and I try to focus. I think that was when I gave myself, that was what, a year or two ago. I gave myself 5 years to understand. When I said, all right, I'm going to make the push to do it full time, I said, all right, in 5 years, I'm going to be at X. I'm going to have this kind of clients, and I'm going to be doing this kind of work. But I realized that it was going to take me a good 2 years to figure out what the voiceover market wanted from my sound. And you got to record a whole bunch of shit, and some of it sticks, and you get a lot of feedback and say, hey, wow, this sounds great. You should do this, do that. And it takes a long time to figure that out without a coach. If you have a coach, professional coach, but when you're starting out, you don't have a ton of money to spend on coaches, you got to figure it out yourself. And I do think figuring it out yourself allows you to have a better business mind, so you can direct yourself towards certain things. Sometimes coaches will direct you to places that you don't need to go. At least the bad ones would.
They
Yeah, that's the world we live in. Coaches, they're okay, but
Great white.
Good cigarette commercials. I know they have. Cigarette commercials. That'd be like what's his face from Mad Men. My tobacco is toasted.
They certainly. Number 5.
Number 5.
5. Where they lived. During the 20 million, it was much
much hotter.
It was much warmer, and this is backed up. It's likely then that it would have been perfect. This is also something that they differ from.
Oh, my neck is killing me this morning.
Because
I got a new pillow.
Because Megalodon.
A new pillow.
Because
I bought a pillow that was like softer and I had this like gel thing on it, but I don't think that's I think it's hurting me.
And probably.
I was just getting old. Old, voice is going, neck is going, everything's going, eyes are going. Who said that?
But when needing to hunt eyes, the shallower regions were likely far safer from other dangers. But when giving birth or when still.
I say, what the hell was that? Why is that an edit?
But when giving birth or. Another interesting thing that's been discovered. Just why this is the case isn't known. But number 4. Very few remain.
Opening up a paragraph. Opening up the first sentence of a narration paragraph is the most important.
Quite often, large numbers of fossil regions.
Do you start slower? Do you start faster? Do you start higher? Do you start lower?
Themselves.
Something's going on with my cans here. Yeah, that one is fine, but I do another couple of dB down here, another 3 dB.
This is what happened during a dig at a site in South
Sounds wrong on these cans.
South Carolina, where hundreds of megalodon teeth were found. Next to them, though, was something incredibly rare, a 5.5-inch or 14-centimeter long lump of fossilized poop.
Yeah, that one sounds a little better on these cans. That's the thing. Listen to my monitors. Listen to these freaking Neumanns. These Neumanns are awesome. They're clear and they're fantastic, but I'm so used to listening to my own voice on these that when I'm not using them, things sound better on my speakers, like in the room. Actually, that's the thing. How many of you guys are listening to this on a phone or on earbuds? I mean, how the hell do I know what you're listening to it on? So, that's the challenge.
The most peculiar.
Make it sound good everywhere.
In fact, the same thing. Darks. In fact,
make it sound good everywhere. What the hell? Oh my God! What? This voice actor, so Geraldine Blecker. She's been doing voice acting since forever, and she's played masculine voices. I was shocked. Oh well, yeah. It's actually kind of common. Because a lot of women can, if they know how to control their voice, they can pitch it in a way to sound very masculine, and vice versa. Actually, it's probably more common. I wonder what's more common. I guess it's probably the same. Guys make them sound like women, or girls, or women be able to make themselves like a guy.
When you look,
I wonder what's more common. I gotta say, men sound more like women because a lot of guys don't have just naturally a deep voice. It's just kind of neutral sounding voice. So if they know how to trick their vocal cords enough. Oh, another burp. Another burp.
To place the Megalodon amongst the
Oh, it's a meme reference. Sorry, I don't know that meme. I don't know that one. Sorry. I'm not up on my memes. She smoked Marlboro cigs for like a whole year before doing that role. Yeah, and I'm sure, look into it. I'd be interested to know, did she drink any whiskey or hard alcohol, like bourbon or something to impact that, because it is a known thing in the industry that certain types of alcohol can really. Actually, I'm really interested to see what kind of damage it does, but it damages the vocal cords in a way that sounds kind of okay, or it sounds okay for a lot of people. But if you're a professional singer, you don't do it. But if you're just a voice actor and you need a little bit of grit or whatever, it does work.
And in
Sharks.
And in contrast, an ancient
Yeah, my neck. Ooh, or is it my spine? Maybe I gotta go to a chiropractor.
Nevertheless,
this one I did like 3 times.
Nevertheless.
Actually, there's an interesting thing. How many people we got? 3 people. You guys in here? Do you guys use the word, if you're trying to say like a lake or an ocean or a pond? Were you going to say, or would you say, a water body or a body of water? Which one would you say? And I wonder if it's regional. That's the weird bit.
Nevertheless,
Body of water. Yeah, body of water. Body of water. No, not a water of body. A water body. Like, I get this in scripts, and I'm trying to determine where they're from, because I can tell where a scriptwriter is from by once you get to know them and you start, you start realizing, all right, they're putting more. There's some Indian guys from India that write, and I can tell they're from India. Well, actually, I know they're from India. Now I do, but I didn't at the beginning, because they're always using, when they describe locations about something in India, they're always using the county, the town, the prefecture, then the country. It's like the official way to talk about that. Instead, you talk about the United States, you say, oh yeah, this was in Las Vegas, Nevada. You don't need to know which county, which town, which city, and then which state. Like, there's no reason to, unless you're from that area and you really know the differences. And I find that a lot of Indian, what is that, Southeast kind of, yeah, Southeast Asia, a lot of those writers will use water body instead of body of water. It's very strange. That one always jumps out at me for some reason.
or difficult for
Water body. It's just wrong for my face. I guess my face doesn't
And
like to
all
say it.
undersea current.
It's funny, and this stream is going to be on here forever, and it's just going to be people listening to me talking about water body.
Undersea
What the hell are you talking
and
about?
increase undersea current.
What the hell are you talking about, man?
Undersea currents.
God, how long have I been doing this one? Am I done with this one? Remember when I
Other
said
animals
33
too
minutes?
began to die off.
Jesus, I've been streaming for I don't even know how long. Yeah, it takes a while.
This would have put when large-scale changes like this begin. Couple this with the fact
At least it's not an audiobook.
and the
No more of those today.
megalodon.
No more audiobooks today. You know what that reminds me? Let me do... Where is it? Ah, this one. I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it up to this. Classic.
1. Could they be alive today? Ever since people first realized the size and ferocity of Megalodon, the question has been asked of the chances that they're still alive today. When the last fossilized specimen to have been discovered dates back to 2.6 million years ago, this isn't proof in itself that the species died out. So could it be possible that they've been hidden away since then?
That reminds me of the aliens guy. Aliens. It reminds me of that guy. Could it be that these guys are still alive? Aliens. Yes. Is it possible? Yes.
While it may be
Why did I hang that?
While it may be a fun, there would surely have been
Spanish describes another. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that's the thing, though. Like, it could be maybe it's a rule that they didn't learn, because they're script writing in English. They're not throwing it through a translation program. So maybe it's a rule they never figured, but it's like an idiom that they're aware, or not even an idiom, but they just use it. I guess that's just the differences in language, but it's one of those ones that I can't read it like that. Water body. It just doesn't. An English person, a native English speaker. I guess that's one of the things. You get a native English speaker and the script writer is not a native English person or a native English speaker. They just don't know, so it's kind of up to either the producer or the talent
at the polls. Megalodon
has to make an edit. You have to make that change. You gotta it's an audible. I'm gonna call it.
Megalodon tended to prefer war. The final piece of evidence. The simple fact is that they were such a high. The simple fact they were such a highly aggressive species that there's no reason why they would decide to avoid human contact at all costs. and recent simulations suggest there's less than a 1% chance that there's still a living Megalodon on Earth today. I'll see you guys next time.
Alright, that's it for that one. So see these spikes? I like to go in and sometimes manually get rid of them, but I don't think these are too bad. I'm going to leave them in there. I shave it. I'm going to shave those peaks off there. Alright, so now we're going to do another light pass. And this actually shouldn't be too
sharks
bad.
And the Leviathan, among others. And this would have been a much more even matchup.
So it gets clicks,
Number
but it
6,
doesn't crush it.
they're
Yeah, it doesn't crush it. I used to have this set, the sensitivity used to have set way too high, and it would just chop out too much of the high stuff. Too much of the high stuff. Too much of the high stuff. Mortal Kombat. I've seen, well, okay, so here's the original. If you guys remember, I'm dating myself here, but there was a, it was called a Re-Dizzy combo. This was Super Street Fighter 2. Just 2. Like Super Street Fighter 2. Like no Turbo, no Championship Edition, none of that. And it was Guile. Guile had, and this was like in the arcade, and he had a Re-Dizzy combo. I think it was like, it was some weird jumping combo. It was like a strong punch, standing strong punch, and then like a flash kick or something. It was like really crazy. And then you'd be dizzy. That was when it was, I think it was that. And then you could just do it again, and it would re-dizzy. And until they patched it in the arcade, people would just always play. Like if he hit you with that, it would game over. It was the same thing with, it was Killer Instinct, the original Killer Instinct in the arcade. Cinder, the guy on fire, had an infinite combo. You could just keep, that's it. It took forever to kill the guy, but it just was an infinite combo where you do the kick flip thing that he has, and it was absolute ass. So if he juggled you and he got you into the air and he did his infinite combo, that was it. You just sat there and just waited for him to finish to kill you off. You couldn't combo break it. Stupid. Cinder. Yeah, so yeah, Cinder. My favorite character in that was Fulgore, because he was most like Ken and Ryu from Street Fighter. Fulgore. Cool. I gotta put combo breakers on the soundboard for Simple History. No, yeah, there is no comparison between that and the NES. Yeah. Arcade one was, I mean, the NES was good, but the arcade was great. All right, what did I do here? Oh, yeah, let me apply this. Actually, let me just listen to this. This is critical listening 101. I've spent years doing this. Let's critical listen.
Sharks are one of the most feared creatures on the planet, but in prehistoric times, sharks were much, much more scary. Millions of years ago, there was a species of shark that was not only the biggest and most powerful hunter that the Earth has ever seen, but also the most ruthless and terrifying. So join me for today's video. We're going to count down 15 amazing facts about the Megalodon shark. Number 15, their size. Despite knowing about the huge monsters that once roamed our planet, it's amazing to think that the largest...
There's a little bit of weirdness in there, probably around 240 hertz, but I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it alone. It's probably not, nobody's ever going to hear that.
Creature of all that we know of.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, I'll just leave it alone. I would sound way, like I would be processing it way too much. So we'll do that, and we'll go to the last one. This is the last one. So this one took me, wow, Jesus, this one took me, what, 45 minutes? Wow. See, his scripts are getting longer and longer. It used to be I could do these in 20 minutes, and then it would be chopped down to 15 minutes. Like I'd have 5 minutes of mistakes. For 45 minutes, this will probably get chopped down to about 32 minutes with all those mistakes. So they're just getting longer and longer. I mean, hey, if people are watching, awesome. But Soul Calibur, yeah, I started, so I'm an old idiot, so I played original Soul Calibur. Was fun. The weapons, yeah, that was one of the first games that had that rotating system, wasn't it? Soul Calibur, where you could sort of rotate around the character. It was more 3D than not. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I've been watching, I gotta say, I've been a fighting game person my whole life, but I've stopped since Street Fighter 4. I think I stopped at Street Fighter 4 because I had the arcade stick and stuff, and the latency between players on the, what was that, PS4, I think it was PS4, or whatever the hell that system I had, PS4, I think. There was too much latency, and it really annoyed the hell out of me, since I want to say it was input lag, but it was lag over the internet, the ranked battles. It seems to have fixed itself, especially these days with better internet connections. Like, definitely now I got a way better internet connection. And I've been watching a lot of Street Fighter 6, and I think it would be too much for me to, because I gave the stick away, I gave the fighting stick away, and I think it would be too much for me to get back into it. Like the learning curve, it would be like a new learning curve, and I just don't have enough time. I'd rather just spend my time doing audio stuff. But I'd love to get back into it because the game looks fantastic. It just looks fantastic. Street Fighter 6, fantastic. 4 was great. 4, yeah, but you got to remember, 4 was when they really started to patch issues. Like, the game wasn't, like, patches were, I don't want to say common, but there were a lot of problems with Street Fighter 4. Certain characters, it's actually what I'm starting to see now with certain, like Ken in Street Fighter 6. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I see people talking about Ken having his health pool might be a little too large, or something similar to that. So they're probably going to patch him to where he's not as tanky as they should be. But it's like, that's the balance. That's the modern day what we live in. You put out a game and this is unbalanced, and the meta starts to develop, like, which is the best character. Like, I see a lot of Zangief players sort of dominating these days because, God, he puts out so much damage. But he's slow. It's just weird. I wish I could get back into it, but I just don't think I have enough time. I just don't think I have enough time to devote to learning and getting the dexterity back, the physical dexterity. Like, it's muscle memory now for me, but having to relearn that physical dexterity,
The cost of
I just don't know if I want to. I just don't know if I want to do that.
whether they're flying to bring
Tekken guy, Tekken 7 and Leroy. Why, is he the same thing? Yeah, there always seems to be that. There always seems to be that meta. I mean, that's how we live now, I guess. Do people really want things to be perfectly even? Then it would just turn into a game of tic-tac-toe, where it doesn't matter, or chess. It doesn't. I used to call Street Fighter, when I was playing it a ton, or even Mortal Kombat, call it like a high-speed version of chess, because it was balanced, and there was really no character that was so dominant over the other. It had more to do with your reflexes and understanding of the game mechanics. But I realized that it was because the game was so new that anybody that had great reflexes and understood how to manipulate basically the character within a certain frame window always had the advantage. It wasn't based on the character, it was based on the player. And that's really not the case anymore. It seems to be just based on the character, and then they patch in any corrections that they need to do.
in the world. The money, the cost of these.
Oh well, that's just me, my pontificating about being an old school fighting game person. Yeah. MK when I was a kid, but after they decided to make it a 3D game, it kind of lost its charm to me. MK was fun. Yeah, it's actually come back to its more original. What was that game? Street Fighter did that. Street Fighter Alpha EX, right? Or Street Fighter Alpha EX. I think it was EX, where they started to do the whole kind of 3D Virtua Fighter Tekken stuff. And it didn't work. At least, in my opinion, it didn't work. And besides, it was so slow. But now, it looks 3D or animated, and it's 2D still, which is way better. That's how they should be.
Expensive help. Number 50.
At least, in my opinion, that's how they should be. All right, we're going to take this EQ and move it over about 4 something for...
Depends on how far and how fast you want to fly.
Yeah, it is
so
that.
join me for today's video.
Yep, it is that one. 2 EQs. Actually, there's 3 EQs that I'm using. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Lazy, where I don't want to get my room in order. I just use EQs to fix it all.
The cost of these depends on how far. how fast you want to fly. So join me for today's video. We're going to take a look at 15 of the
Street Fighter Alpha. Street Fighter Alpha. Yeah, that was classic. That was when, wait, didn't Alpha come out with Cammy? Or no? Cammy was in DJ and Cammy and... and Fei Long. Oh, I loved Fei Long. And that was Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, I think. Fei Long was awesome.
All right, launch. All right, start.
Actually, so who's the Tekken person in here?
Right,
Didn't they have, what was his name?
Right.
The Bruce Lee guy. Law. I think it was Law. Is he still in there? Law? Law was cool. He had that, he just had that Bruce Lee vibe. I mean, who the hell doesn't want to play Bruce Lee? Yeah, that was Super Street Fighter 2. Yeah, Fei Long. Fei Long was good. Yeah, but were they? Oh, that's right. Super Street Fighter 2. That's right. I keep forgetting. There was Street Fighter 2, the Turbo, then Championship Edition, then there was Super Street Fighter 2. God, it's freaking Street Fighter. Capcom versus Marvel. What about all that too?
One of the standout features, depending on the variant and the spec. The high cost is
King Main on Tekken. Yeah, wait a minute. Didn't I see something recently about King having, or it was something I was watching on YouTube about King. Can't remember who it was. It was about somebody who mained King. And there was something weird about that, why he was chosen. I don't know if it was because he was underpowered or overpowered. I remember seeing something about that.
the collective.
You can tell if I'm seeing stuff like that, like I'm still watching stuff about fighting games, because even though I don't play them anymore, I still watch it because it's awesome. Wait, what?
Its specifications. The tactical transport model
Wait, what?
comes with two main versions. The tactical transport helicopter. The tactical transport model can accommodate up to tactical transport helicopter for military operations and the NATO frigate helicopter for naval missions.
Yeah, why did I cancel all of that? Oh well. King is slow, but he's got a lot of grappling moves. Yeah. One thing I did notice in, well, it wasn't Tekken, Street Fighter 6, I noticed there's a lot of throw, a lot of counter throw and like what they would call throw chains back in the day. And it seemed, I don't know, maybe that's the direction they want to go, but there's a lot of throwing, attempts at trying to throw. And I wonder if that was on purpose, or it just seems to be the meta. Like, you feign high, feign low, and then you go in and you throw, and if the person doesn't counter it, you just get thrown. I noticed this a lot. Double, triple throw chains, where they go in, throw, and I'll be like, what the hell? I mean, it just seems strange. Just maybe that's because it's the first, I'll not say the first, but the early meta of the game.
It's got a top speed.
Who knows? Maybe that's just me.
It's got a top speed.
I've never been a fan of grappling, throwing in video games. It's just, it just feels cheap. Except for the throw characters like Zangief and stuff.
Number 4.
That's just me.
Number 14.
King is still the most popular in Tekken. You think King? What about, I forget his name. I'm not going to say, I'll remember it. It'll pop in there. I can't remember his name. Shit. It'll pop in there. It'll pop in there. The old guy with the hair that looks like Wolverine. All I have to do is say that. I forgot his name. Heihachi. Heihachi? Was it Heihachi? Heihachi. Yeah, Heihachi. I always enjoyed his character because he reminded me of Akuma from Street Fighter. It was that same kind of energy. This evil bastard that was just way stronger than he should have been. Yeah. He was great. Heihachi.
The Apache was designed. The Apache.
All right, let's go back. All right, let me do a deplosive on this. Go back to this. I'm almost out of coffee. God, I've been nursing that for 2 hours.
Apache was the helicopter can. And additionally, it can carry 2.75.
2.75.
Additionally, it.
Yeah.
In addition, wide positions. Additionally, it can carry 2.75 in
Minor breath.
Position.
Take out.
Additionally, it.
Heihachi. Kazuya had the Super Saiyan. Yeah, he had the Super Saiyan, but Heihachi had the gray version of it, right? Like he had the same thing, but it was gray, and didn't he have a mustache? I think, or I can't remember. I just remember him just being this old guy that was just, it was Akuma basically.
As for its price tag.
As for
the Apache's price tag.
Good old fighting games. What about, nobody knows this game. Nobody plays this game anymore, because this was one that was in the arcade on Neo Geo, and nobody played it, or at least I did. I think it was on PlayStation 1 or 2, I think. King of Fighters. They had the Fatal Fury guys. Oh, King of Fighters was great. That was just, back in the day, back when it was like really brand new, it was fantastic. Yeah, King of Fighters, classic. Oh, then there was Samurai Showdown, too. That one was interesting. That was in the arcade the same time as Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat 1. And there was always the crew of people that was always hanging around with Samurai Showdown, and then I would go try to play it. And it was chunky. All I'll say is it was chunky. It felt slow and clunky, and it just wasn't the same as Street Fighter. It didn't have the same fluidity as Street Fighter. It was good, but it just didn't have, it was a different mindset. You had to get into a different mindset to play that game. Like you had to change, like especially with Haomaru and the blind guy. I can't remember his name. The guy with the girl, the girls would come out when he would win. Oh, I can't remember his. Oh, was he blind? No, he had the reverse slash. I can't remember his name. He was great. King of Fighters was great, but especially when they started combining the Fatal Fury guys, Andy Bogard and Terry Bogard and Joe Higashi and all that stuff. That's when it really became fun. At least the games did. The anime was all great and stuff, but but that was fun as hell. They really got good. It started to feel like, actually, it was like Guilty Gear. When Guilty Gear came out, that was another cool fighting game.
Number 13.
Guilty Gear was about the music, not necessarily the gameplay.
13. Puma.
Can you tell I like fighting games? I'm mentioning all these obscure fighting games. Yeah.
It was developed by
Tekken, that one character that started off with an Oni mask samurai and now is only a school. I haven't looked. Yeah, what the hell was his name? Yoshimitsu. Yeah, right? Is that what you're talking about? An Oni mask samurai? Yeah. The robot Yoshimitsu? I don't know what the hell he is now, but yeah. Kyo. Yeah. Kyo was my favorite. Kyo Kasunagi was my favorite. He was my favorite one because he was most like the Ryu and Ken meta, where it was just, Hadoukens and Shoryukens and stuff. It was
challenging environment.
That was the meta. I always loved that, and the flash kick thing that he had, and his ultra combo was awesome. Actually, that was one of the first games that had those sort of fill up a super bar and then you'd get this big powerful attack kind of thing. That was one of the earlier ones that did that. It was around before, but it was one of the ones that really nailed it, I think.
Its cabin, the Super Puma is including offshore ability to perform a wide range of missions, including offshore transport missions, including
on the transient, always on the transient.
Including offshore oil and search and transport of troop, offshore oil and gas operations, search and rescue missions,
transport
wind engine. It's space
fatality. Yoshimitsu, was he in Soul Calibur? Oh, Kyo, yeah. This is how I'm dating myself. The whole style changed. Like I never liked what they went after, like what you were talking about, 99. After that, they went on to a whole different level, and I lost my interest for it.
Additionally,
it's still good, but
now movements.
Yeah.
Additionally, it features a large.
But it's funny. I just look at my YouTube recommended videos. A lot of Street Fighter 6. Like it recognizes, yeah, dude, Chris, you've been watching a lot of Street Fighter 6. Do you want to see more about this? And it's just fun to watch all the old names, Daigo and all those guys, Takedo and all those guys, just watching those guys play. It's just actually, come to think of it,
depending on the spec,
Daigo must be getting up there in years, and I'm sure his reflexes have diminished slightly. I wonder if he's still dominant.
Class.
Clear the throat.
Copters. Number 12. The Mil Mi-38 is a modern medium.
Let me go back. Did my plosives. Let's save this one. In case anybody's looking at this, by the way. Normally, You can see how big the waveform is here. Normally, I don't save it that hot, but I've been experimenting with increasing the overall dynamics of tracks for top fives. And that's why it looks so large on the screen. Normally, when you see a voiceover, it shouldn't be that large. I mean, normally a voiceover should be like quiet. It should be, you know, something probably like that, or maybe even a little hotter. But yeah, for the most part, I'm trying to experiment with making some dynamic range changes to my audio, just in case anybody's wondering. Or just stuck. Third Strike, yeah, parried that. Yeah, that's the classic. That Evo, when was that? 99? Evo 99 or 97? Whatever that was. That's a gaming legend. That's a legendary moment in gaming, at least from my point of view. Being a Street Fighter fan, it transcended what we thought humans could freaking do in that game when he parried that whole freaking combo. Like look, if anybody doesn't know about that, go look up Daigo Evo and Daigo Evo 99 or whatever it was. Look for people who are talking about it, not just the clip itself, but how difficult something like that was. Like, you had to be frame perfect on every block. Every block had to be frame perfect. And to have the wherewithal, as you're doing that, to realize that you're coming up on the last frame of the kick of the block to jump and then do a combo. That was a level of gaming that we really hadn't seen before, and he just sort of popped it. He just did it. just did it. And people had thought it was possible, but
It's Max.
he was the first one to do it, or at least in a competitive setting like that.
Number
That was some shit. That was legit.
9.
Very few. There have been some of those, like, I want to say COD moments, like where you get just like a guy will 1v7 a team, or like Counter-Strike moments where a guy will 1v7 or 1v5 somebody. And those are awesome. But there was something different about that Daigo one. That was a whole other level.
Designed.
But gotta like fighting games, I guess. He was almost dead. Yeah, that was the thing, right? Yeah. He was one hit. He was one hit away from being killed. That was the best part. He was one hit away from being killed. And he saw it coming. Yeah, that was great. Fantastic. I guess it helps to know the game a little bit too. Yeah. Man, that was some good shit. A lot of interesting things like that have been since that, I think Capcom has realized there are certain levels that they're pushing their players towards obtaining, frame perfect executions of certain maneuvers where, if you get it just right, you're sort of rewarded with a combo break or a block or a counter.
It's considered offshore operations. Even law enforcement, the cockpit of this thing, with an estimated price ranging from 12 to 16 million per unit, it's considered cost-effective option for operators seeking high performance and capable.
Yeah, where the hell am I coming from?
Offshore operation.
Wow, that whole thing I redid? Wow, that was a big mistake. Oh, big mistake. 20 years ago, yeah. Well, it was 20 years ago. Yeah, good stuff. I'm old. What can I say? I'm an old person.
And capable.
I'm an old person with simple gaming preferences.
It's fitted with a retractable tricycle.
Tricycle. I think I was going to say tricycle. I said tricycle. Screw it. I'm leaving it in there. Portable PS5. No. Wait. What do you mean remember? Wasn't that something that was brand new?
And above small.
Actually, when's PlayStation 6? When is that going to be here?
The power. And above the power.
I'm still waiting for freaking God of War Ragnarok to be put on PC because I refuse to buy a system these days now. I just don't want to buy a game console. Just don't want to do it.
The AW130. Although
I waited and maintained spoiler-free when they put Red Dead Redemption out on PC, day one. And fantastic choice. And it only has gained popularity since then. They did the same thing with Grand Theft Auto. Like when they released 5 on PC, it just grew from there. I mean, that's what I was kind of hoping they were going to release Ragnarok a little sooner rather than later. But yeah, oh well.
Number 10.
I can hold out hope. And Ghost of Tsushima. I want that to come out on PC. I don't know why they do that.
The S7,
unless there's some contract that says, oh yeah,
the S70, the Sikorsky S.
We won't put it out on PC until whatever. The OG Red Dead. Yeah, I heard about that. Stupid. Yeah, but if you bought for Switch and PS4, but if you bought the one on Xbox, I think it was free, something like that. I remember watching something about that where PlayStation was charging you $50 for the. It's not even an upscale. I don't think. It doesn't have any benefit. It's just a re-release. Or a direct port.
Sikorsky also used demand for the S76 waned in March of 2022.
Sikorsky.
In March of 2022. Today, the S76 this helicopter is made with a more. It's powered by a pair of turboshaft engines, which are located.
Background music. This is Skyrim. It's Jeremy Soule. This is, what is it? Skyrim, music and ambience, rainy night. And this is, I think it's a double loop. It's an hour long. But yeah. Jeremy Soule. If you look up some information about Jeremy Soule, he was the main composer for Skyrim soundtrack. And if you look up some information, there's been some dealings that he's had to deal with regarding his personal life, and I'll just leave it at that. That has stained him in the industry a little bit, and I don't really know whether or not it's deserved or not. I'm going to assume it's not, based on what I've read. But this was a genius. What he did with the ambience in Skyrim. I mean, we all know Skyrim, and people say, "Oh, I love Skyrim." It's a lot of people's favorite game, and I don't think they give the soundtrack enough credit because it was near as perfect a soundtrack as you can get for a game like that. Like, it was solid game. I mean, everybody's talking about it. I was just listening to a podcast about Tears of the Kingdom. Actually, it was a whole Zelda. It was about the music from beginning to finish. I think that was, 20,000 Hertz podcast. And I think he was talking about all Zelda games. Fantastic, but quite a shift with the current music that's in Tears of the Kingdom and how different it is. And people are saying, yeah, it's good, but not quite what Breath of the Wild kind of brought to the table. That's interesting. Who cares? It's
developed by
creative changes or creative direction. I'll put it this way. Nothing can be as bad. No music in any game can be as bad as what they did to the Battlefield 2042 music. The worst game soundtrack I think I've ever heard. Ever. Absolutely terrible. Given that it's in a franchise. Absolute worst decision to do whatever the hell whoever those people were. And these were Oscar award-winning or Grammy award-winning. No, it's terrible.
Good. Competing.
Terrible. Man, what a pissed off about that. What a shame.
Bell began pitching the Bell.
I gotta start reading my comments. Sorry. Aeon Music. Oh, I know about that. No, I know Aeon. Or Ion. No other game. Yeah, I mean, if it's one of your favorites, yeah. They're doing No Russian again in the next Modern Warfare. Really? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that would be good. On a plane. Yeah, on a plane. Oh, imagine that. Yeah. Like hijacking a plane and then you have to actually like burn it down and go into a building and shit. Ooh, would that be pretty rough? That's pretty funny. Yeah, yes. Yeah, I have. I know about that mission. Yeah, that's some good stuff.
Which aims to replace the R. The 525 is certain. It should be capable of carrying 19 passengers, more than any existing super meat. It's designed for 2 pilots.
I think in the middle of this script, this voiceover, I was falling asleep. No wonder I remember this was so long. There was so much extraneous information given about these helicopters that I started to just glaze over.
35.
I think when I was reading it, I was totally on autopilot. Like, it was so much information about seating configurations and engine options. Nobody gives a damn. They don't really care about any of that. And I started to glaze over. No wonder it was so long.
First flight and 1,400.
That's not good. Don't say that. Say, I was honored to be part of this
and
production.
1,400 and 14.
Around it was stupid because it's a moment for kids. Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah. But that was I think that was the pinnacle of it. That mission. That was probably the pinnacle of. Actually, I guess I've been around since the beginning of Mortal Kombat. Was a perfect example. That was demonized to have so much violence and blah blah blah. Like, did it really do anything terrible to your kids? No, it didn't. It didn't do anything terrible to your kids. And it just comes back. It's going to come back again. You don't realize when AI comes out, not when it comes out, but when AI, actually, the NVIDIA guy, Jensen Huang, when he did that AI demonstration of the real-time interaction you can have via voice with an AI character, when that starts hitting mainstream, like AAA title video games, people are going to get up in arms, and there's going to be government interference about violence, or not violence, but there's going to be government interference about whether or not your kid should be playing this. And I anticipate, prediction by the way, I'm going on the record, what date is this? August 13th, 2023. I'm sure somebody's already said this, but when that technology starts getting put into mainstream games, someone's going to use it. So like Rockstar, somebody's going to use it, and it's going to make the case for people to have a new rating category, like part of the ESRB, a new system or a new category that says, watch out, drugs and violence, yes, but this is going to be drugs, violence, and AI, like an AI entity that you have to be careful. This is not human. Like, this is some new level of be careful. This isn't real. I have a feeling that's going to happen. For some reason, I can see how it can degenerate into people misusing AI technology to do everything, like to make a political statement or, imagine putting a search engine in a video game, streaming live, that you can just talk to it and it's talking to you like it can give you any information it wants based on what the programmers say. And if the programmers have a political sort of motive, they can have some serious influence on young brains. So I have a feeling it's going to be a new category of protection that will eventually get adopted by either the ESRB or whomever. If it hasn't been already, honestly, I don't know if it has been already, but I can see a new category of rating systems coming for any game that incorporates a built-in online AI. I mean, it has to be. I mean, Jesus. I wouldn't want kids doing that. So
The EC.
That's me pontificating about future of video games. That's what's going to happen. Now I need to look up if the ESRB even has that. It's not even a thing yet. Nobody's done it. Nobody's created the perfect app for it, or the awesome app that everybody wants. But as soon as it has, somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to create this awesome experience, and it's going to be scary because you're going to go in and you're going to lose yourself. It'll be like you're going to want to form a relationship with an in-game character that just has an ongoing relationship with you. Guy, woman, doesn't matter. And you're going to form connections and emotional connections with these characters in these games. And it's going to remember, you're treating it like an artificial person, but I don't think we're all smart enough to realize it's not an artificial person. So yeah, I think there's going to be some warnings there to try to protect young brains from getting too sucked down the rabbit hole of artificial person. Or at least that's what I think. That's what seems what's going to happen. Don't shill for my channel. Come on, really? Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and play Raid Shadow Legends. Hey, CK, did you say you were once a I am a redhead. It's all going gray now, but yeah, I was a redhead. I'm a ginger. I don't have the traditional ginger. It's more auburn, I guess. Like, it's not that, that strawberry blonde. My brother does. My brother has strawberry blonde. It's like really bright orange. Mine's kind of like auburn red. So I don't look as bad. And I don't have blue eyes, which is a good thing as a ginger. If you have auburn hair with blue, or I have hazel eyes. And if you have auburn hair with hazel eyes, it's fine. You're fine. You should do fine.
Various, which include various.
But I guess you could say I was a red. In fact, actually, my what the hell was that? What was I playing basketball when I was in grade school? That was my nickname. It was on my jacket, Red, because I had the big, when I was real young. I mean, what was I, like 8 or 9 years old? It was bright orange. Well, not orange. Yeah, red. Traditional redhead.
Care state, which include extensive care
Hey, Red.
stations.
It's actually a good name. Hey, Red. Come on, that's a good name. Red. It's a good nickname to have. Nobody calls me that anymore. Everybody calls me CK.
As well as the pilot, anesthetist,
I can't say anesthetist.
anesthesiologist,
Yeah, why didn't I say anesthesiologist?
stretcher,
Is an anesthesiologist the same as an anesthetist?
anesthetist, winch operator.
Winch operator. Those are two totally different jobs. What's my personal opinion on modern day warfare? I have no personal opinion on modern. I wish modern day warfare didn't exist. It's always going to exist, but my opinion is that it sucks. So, Crispy Concords videos. I'm not sure about them. CK. Oh, well, CK or Louis CK, the comedian. I get that a look. Calvin Klein. Everybody just calls me Chris. Or Chris Kane. It's Chris Kane. Candy Cane.
The AW109 Grand is somewhat small.
Candy Cane. Just call me Candy Cane.
The AW somewhat small.
Honestly, I don't mind any nicknames. I don't give a shit. I think we were talking about this on Discord the other day. Chrissy the Sissy, Chrissy Pissy. All those fun. Everybody, I mean, it's just teasing you. I don't. Okay. Great. Yeah.
Executive and corporate emergent.
As long as you don't exemplify those personalities. Candy Cane. That's a good one. As long as you don't exemplify the demeaning things that people are calling you. As long as you don't have them. I don't give a shit. Call me whatever you want.
It's one of the.
I don't get upset by names. I really don't.
So.
Because I don't care. Or I got 4 eyes, right? I'm wearing the glasses. I got 4 eyes. You get fatso. Actually, I haven't been fat my whole life, but now I put on so much weight that you could say, "Hey, fatty," and I'd be like, "Ah, yeah, you're right. That sucks." If I want to change it, then I gotta do it. Put on some weight. I've always been kind of stocky, so I really don't care about that.
Take that out.
Take that out.
The price can be and some other factors.
That was the interjection of humor. Anytime I say "take that out," too much humor.
And communication systems are.
Chris, the human horsefly. That's a good one. Have I been on the radio? Commercials, yes, but not hosting. Not being a personality on the radio. No, I've always found radio interesting to listen to, and I've had occasional things in my brain that says, "Hey, what about radio production?" I know a few people. When I had that in my brain, I did a lot of research into, what would it take to become part of a radio personality or whatever. I think it's a dying medium, and I hate saying that because I listen to a lot of podcasts, which kind of make the case for me. But I think radio, over-the-air radio, is dying, and if it's not already, it's close to being dead. So whatever's going to replace it, whether that be podcasts or direct content, kind of like what YouTube is doing, I think there's really no need for me to pine to be a radio personality. Maybe in my old age, when I start retiring and I still have some kind of voice left, I might think about it. But the more you look into that industry is very challenging. The companies that control the major broadcast stations, there's so many rules. I couldn't probably exist. I can't deal with rules that companies just lay on you because they've been around forever. I can't deal with companies like that. So I don't think I'd be able to.
The Sikorsky.
There's other better platforms out there that are more enjoyable, more lucrative, and more informative than radio. It just happens to still exist.
The Sikorsky.
It's the same thing what happened to cable TV companies. the streaming services basically are the cable companies now. So it seems like radio is starting to be, or kind of still taken over by Spotify and other podcast services and production companies and I would say media corporations, I guess you could say. So
The Sikorsky.
it's a tough industry.
The Sikorsky.
Where am I?
The Sikorsky
Sikorsky, here I am. Oh, I guess I can. Podcast is one thing. Yeah, but do great. I'll put it this way. I wouldn't want to establish myself in radio right now. I'd rather do this. Establish myself, let's say on YouTube, which is kind of what I'm trying to do. Establish the voice, the sound, whatever, even though my dumbass personality. Try to establish this on a different platform, and then if platforms approach me or if I start to move towards a specific platform, Spotify or whatever, let it happen that way. I don't really want to try to grow on a format that I just have no interest in getting involved in.
Family. Manufacturing.
Other than people, the production companies I still have people that will say, hey, I'm producing radio commercials or radio spots. Can you do narration for this? Sure. But that's a whole other different thing than being employed by, like, who's the one around here? Cumulus Media is a company that owns a lot of the radio stations around where I am. And I know a little bit about, or I know a few people that work for Cumulus Media, and I feel bad because it's kind of like a job. You lose a lot of your freedom as a creative person, and yeah, I think I found a happy balance with where I'm at.
And spawning. Nated the
Oh,
U.S.
that sounded cool. What was that? I feel like I want to make techno beats out of some of the sounds. Nah. Let's say.
For the United States.
Nah.
They.
Turn that into a beat.
States.
Oh, let's say this one.
States.
Nah, a little too fast.
That's
a good one. All right, I gotta stop doing that. I get sidetracked. That's my ADHD going in there.
Black Hawk and spawning a large. Black Hawk and spawning a large.
Too loud. All right, so too loud. All right, there we go. I gotta go back. Delilah. Why do I know that name? Delilah. I think I'm thinking of somebody on one of the local radio stations near me, Daria. I think her name was Daria. She's been around forever too. In fact, actually, the people on the radio in my area have been there forever. And I don't know. Weird. The original narrator of Top Fives. So the original narrator of Top Fives was Joshua Baker. He's the guy that actually owns the channel. He had, I don't know if you remember those early videos, fantastic narrative voice. The audio quality was a little weird because he was hand-holding a condenser microphone, and the audio sounded a little strange, or not as clear, but his voice was very soothing and very relaxing. Fantastic. And he's doing a few videos that he does on the top 10s, the daily top 10s. And that one, yeah, that's fun. Good stuff. Top Fives. Yeah, I've been in there since pretty early, but he was doing it for a while. In fact, I think he was close to 1 million subs before oh, no, maybe not. Oh, God, I guess I've been doing that for a long time now. I can't remember how many. It was at least a few 100,000 subs when I came on board, but he had already had a lot of good success. And that was back in the day when top 10s were, or top whatever, was kind of it's a whole other category of content. And it's still a thing, and it's definitely less so. It's changed. They've had to adapt to they've had to sort of adapt to longer form content instead of having, short little blurbs. It was more informational, which is why we're getting longer and longer.
In the late,
because that seems to be what people are looking for, to keep people engaged. I got to put it this way. So for the last, how long? I think for 4 years at least, Top Fives, a video a day, a scripted, at least. Well, put it this way, at least a video a day for the last 4 years. And if you average out all the time and all the views and all that stuff, it's in the billions by now. But it's like doing, what's that show? I love that show. How's It Made? How's It Made? The guys that do the narration for How's It Made, those were for 22-minute episodes of television, cable. And I think I added up the narration time for each video. And it was about 16 to 18 minutes of narration, because a lot of it was video. They were showing you stuff. So it was a lot of cut stuff. And on the low end, it was like 14. I realized I'm doing way more narration than even those guys, and I've been doing it for longer. Like the amount of narration, just the sheer volume of words and time that we've done on top fives puts those shows to shame. Now, they've been around longer, but when we started putting out videos that were 20 plus minutes, I'm like, holy shit, these are like episodes. These are like full-length episodes of that kind of show, that kind of content where it's narration over on top of video. So I said, all right, just cut your chops, cut your teeth on this content and learn it.
Which feature.
So yeah, I gotta stop thinking about that stuff. It's like too much. Like
The improved UA.
What am I? So we're at 18 minutes already of narrating, 17:30, and we're not even halfway. Not even halfway there yet. Chills top 15s. That was a weird voice. No, I don't. No, his name was Josh. That was Joshua. How It's Made was classic. No, I was not in the How It's Made videos. I was not. I did not do any of that. However, the earliest voice actor, I can't remember his name, he did influence me quite a bit on how I sort of learned, like, when you're learning how, or when you're self-learning, when you're an autodidact and you're trying to learn about how to narrate, and you've taken some vocal coaches and lessons and stuff, they teach you some good things about how to go up and how to go down. I remember transcribing episodes of just as I'm hearing it, transcribing it, and then doing my own script edit, so I could go through and listen how he flows through a sentence. And it influenced, you can sometimes hear it in top fives, sometimes. But he's more consistent. I'm more variable. I'm not going to say dynamic is the wrong word, but I put in a lot more of my own feelings into my narration than most narrators do, because I don't like boring, flat narration that just sounds like I'm just reading something that doesn't really have any impact. Like, I just don't like that. So, yeah, but that, How It's Made, all of them, even the guy with the, is that a British accent? I think there was a guy that did it with the British. The woman was very different for me, different style for me, so I couldn't really pull her apart, but the British guy I pulled apart.
The improved.
But you got to do that. You got to pull apart the people that you think sound cool.
The 60M model was the UH.
Got to pull it apart. I can't believe it's 2 o'clock already. Good God.
The 60M and its pit and integrated flight.
Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. I don't know what that is. Why does that sound familiar? Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. Wait, I'm supposed to say fish. Sundays always pass fast, yeah. Sunday is not a weekend for me. This is like weekday for me. Saturday, Sunday are usually work days for me. My days off? I don't have any days off. Tuesday, Wednesday is like my weekend, usually.
So it can quite literally go the Firehawk variant was specific, incorporates new.
Yeah, this sound.
It incorporates.
I'm getting ear fatigue listening to myself.
System.
It is a thing.
Dropping system.
There's part of the old voice right there. That system. That little, right there. You can see it. This little thing right here. That.
Dropping system. Dropping system.
There we go. Get rid of it.
During these firefighting operations, this allows for efficient.
This buildup on this track. It's like you're traveling around Skyrim at night, and the sky has the aurora up. When you first come into Solitude in Skyrim, the music is like a whole other universe. Ah, freaking goddamn, that's awesome. Oh, somebody else snuck in here. Jetmaster, what's up going on, buddy?
Number 5, Augusta Westland 9. All right, this thing is perhaps the Augusta Westland helicopter we've seen here today. The Augusta Westland The Augusta Westland AW609 tilt rotor is a ground developed by Augusta Westland. Now, the cost of one of these can range anywhere from this transition, and it's powered each driving a prop rotors. It's powered by twin prop engines, each driving a prop
Really?
In helicopter.
Hot dog place. You casually said scarfing down glizzies. Scarfing down the glizzies. Sometimes, well, there's a few different writers, and sometimes the writers put in good lines, and sometimes it's so cringe, like you don't even want to say it. That was one of those ones that I can pull off. Like, I can pull that off. Like, it's... So, I guess this is a thing. Like, so as a person who loves language and loves hearing people speak language, I don't care what language it is, but just hearing people speak, when you know an idiom or some sort of phrase that is not really uttered at any other... Like, okay, so there's a great... Everybody knows this. Like, I'm going to say this, and you guys are going to know what I'm talking about. Riz. Everybody knows what Riz is. I mean... It's cruising. You just know what it is. Hey, that guy's got Riz. Look at the Riz on this guy. It sounds weird when a voice like mine says it, because you don't usually hear somebody like me. It was kind of like that Totes Ma Goats from James Earl Jones and what's his face, when they were poking fun at how young girls talk on the phone, and charisma. And I know what it's from, charisma, and it's funny just to be able to hear somebody talking about a modern sort of turn of phrase with a voice that's not what you'd expect. I love that. It's like a juxtaposition of voice. Like, that voice shouldn't be saying that. And that's awesome. I love it. Love that. I love getting up the opportunities to do that.
The development...
It's just funny, though, because I have to be careful, because sometimes it makes me sound like I'm an idiot. Like if I say, oh, dude, you're raising freaking sus. Yeah, it just sounds bad, but...
The development test program to demonstrate its vertical takeoff and landing capability.
Why did I click all this out?
The development of this tilt rotor...
Oh, I changed the whole freaking thing. Quoting Deliverance. There's nothing wrong with what? Deliverance was around forever. That's been around forever. I can quote Deliverance. No? Wild Glizzies.
The AW6...
Or if I put a little oomph into it. Wild Glizzies. Yeah.
The AW... It received its certificate. After several years of testing and certification efforts, the AW609 received its certificate.
Yeah, I don't think I had a problem with that sentence.
Approval and avionics included 2018. Avionics include a triple redundant digital fly-by-wire control system.
Maybe that's what it is. My posture is affecting my neck. Maybe that's I gotta sit up straight. I even have one of those ass cushions, so I have a nice... Yeah, there we go. I guess that sounds okay. Wait, let me get this. Yeah, right there. Wait, oh, goddamn. AFK! Freaking, I just knocked something off my desk. Wait, hold on. All right. Okay, wait. I knocked it off. Okay. I just knocked off this thing at my desk. Stupid. It knocked it right onto. I have this box thing for this light that I'm going to be installing, and I just completely screwed. Hopefully I didn't damage it. Oh well. Is this top fives? What is this? This is top fives, by the way. This is the top fives voiceover. This is what? Helicopters? Most expensive helicopters ever made. Heard by billions. YouTube channels, which he's very active. I see what on my YouTube channel? Oh no, I'm not active on my own YouTube channel. Just because I do so much work for other YouTube channels, I'd rather have it be heard on there. This is just for fun. I wish I had more time, even though I guess this is one of those weird things. I wish I had more time to like stream games and stuff, because it's enjoyable just streaming games and stuff. But I don't have that much time. I have enough time to play games, but streaming and setting it up and making it a whole thing, and even putting together like compilations of like editing down compilations and stuff, it's just too much work. Starting my own YouTube channel, actually I've had that idea for a while. I think we've talked about this on my own personal Discord. Keep calm. Wait, oh that's right, it focuses. That's right, I forgot this camera. Did it focus on the signs behind me when I got up and left? Yeah, it must have. The autofocus I have on this camera is freaking awesome, and it has a really shallow depth of field. So when, yeah, let me see, when you're looking behind me, I think you can't really see. Yeah, I guess you can sort of make it out, but it really does a good job with focusing. So yeah, I gotta take that. I forgot about that.
Shortly.
Actually, they're sending me, Simple History is sending me some new, those are called disc plates. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that. Disc plates are those metal wall art things that are hung up by magnets, and they're sending me some new ones. So for the new direction, so basically the camera's going to be looking that way at a new wall and a whole new thing that I built over there. I'm going to try to get those disc plates and make sure I keep that one, because that one, keep calm and study history, that's what you got to do. Just keep calm, study history, man. Just learn about it. Stop screwing around. Just
More
learn
easily.
history.
Elements of the air shortly following a element faces shortly following a shortly following.
All right, I gotta move this here. Keep calm and study history. That's been there forever, you know. That's been there since I started doing the videos for ow, back. Oh, cramp. Yeah, there we go. Been sitting down too long. But it's good. Crap, I should use the standing. I should do the standing desk. This is a standing desk, but yeah. Oh, my background music. Hold on. Oh, I ended it. Damn it. All right, so now we're going to find a better one. How about Hogwarts? Oh, I know. No, not Rainy Towns. Not Rain. Where's the Riverwood? No, let me back up. Riverwood. I gotta watch out. This cushion thing gives me a backache if I sit down too long.
As part of the design,
Well, we're almost coming up to the end here, I think. Number 4. No, wait, that can't be number 4.
Number 4.
It is number 4. Number 4, and I'm not even a third of the way through. This is why these scripts are getting crazy. Like, there's so much information. It almost seems extraneous to number 4 to have a third of the episode. Who the hell stays for that long? Oh, well. Oh, the Culture Mafia. The Culture Mafia. That I've been really enjoying. In fact, there's a new channel. It's not out yet. We haven't launched it yet. I was talking about this the other night in Discord. There's a channel called, well, technically, I can't say what the name of the new channel is. Oh, well, I don't really know what they're planning to do with the title of it. I know some vagaries. But there's a channel that I'm working with, a writer out of New Zealand. He already has a pretty interesting channel about some supernatural content, and it's sort of unsolved mysteries and true crime and stuff like that. And there's a lot of also supernatural stuff involved, or supernatural hypotheses and things like that. And I'm looking forward. We've been building a back catalog. So when he decides to launch the channel, it's not out yet. When he decides to launch the channel, I'll let everybody know. But it kind of reminds me of what we're doing with Culture Mafia. Culture Mafia, see, it's funny. People approach me all the time. Can you narrate my channel? Can you do my channel? I have to have, not just can you narrate my channel, I need to know what's it about. And the Culture Mafia, besides being awesome about talking about The Godfather and stuff, is a mindset and mentality kind of channel where they talk about the laws of power and stuff like that. And I agreed to do it because that kind of information to get out into the world, I personally think it's important that young men, well, it is targeted. I don't want to say it's targeted at young men, but it's kind of a very masculine topic, the way they talk about it. But to get that information out is hugely important. And to lend my voice to that kind of content has been awesome. And we just started doing one. In fact, it's not even out yet. I don't know if I can talk about it. I can't really talk about it. We're doing one about the Yakuza, the Japanese mafia, to try to sort of link in some of the laws of power with what the Yakuza have done in their society. Because it does predate quite a bit of what the American mafia would be considered
today.
So it was interesting. But yeah, we've got a new one. I think we've got about 14, 15 episodes in the can for this new channel. And a lot of good stories. The writing is fantastic in that. And I do my best to make it sound different from the stuff that I'm doing now. More like an episode of like Dateline NBC, or, almost like I'm channeling my inner Keith Morrison to try to bring a little bit more drama to it instead of just fact-based narration. Which they've been happy with how I've been narrating, which has been one of those channels that's great. All the channels that I work with, great writing, and very rarely do I have to do pickups, which are like retakes and like, oh, we didn't like the way you said it this way. The type of content is very consistent for my delivery style, which is good. It's just a benefit. It's like an added benefit for me.
Today.
But yeah, a couple new channels we got coming up. I just happen to be lucky that I have the ability to pick and choose the kinds of channels, the kinds of work that I can do for people, and be able to be comfortable and make a living doing it. I'm lucky. I was lucky enough to be able to do that. And I really shouldn't have. If I had to do it over again, I probably would have done it the same way. But I was too picky in the beginning, but it seemed to have served me well to be picky, I guess. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not reading comments. Slapped Ham. Yeah, Slapped Ham is the name of the main channel. I don't narrate for Slapped Ham. That's a whole other channel, but the guys that own that channel are putting together a new channel, which is more, like I said, like kind of real crime or true crime, true stories that can be interpreted, maybe paranormal type stuff, which I love. I love that content. Hopefully we can go down the rabbit hole with that channel and build an audience, because I'm sure based on their content, the way they edit their current the Slapped Ham channel, the way they edit it, I think with the combination of my narration with the way that they edit that kind of mysterious, because I get a chance to be mysterious and talk about stuff that's kind of interesting and challenging, and use that kind of voice, I think it has a chance to grow. I think it has a chance for legs. People, I think, can enjoy that. It's like the I haven't listened to it in a while, but have you guys heard of the No Sleep podcast? You ever heard about that? I think it's called the No Sleep podcast. Those guys do a lot of that, similar true crime and suspense and thrillers and stuff like that. Yeah, that was good. What was my first channel that I ever worked on? That's a tough. He's been around. First channel on YouTube. Well, that's the thing. Consistent work, or just like the first video? The first video, honestly, there's been so many little things that I was doing to help channels right before Simple History. Simple History is the first YouTube channel that I started working on with intent, meaning, okay, I need to, here's what we want to do. I want to do this for Simple History. There's been a few before that, like some fan-based, like video game ones and Star Wars and stuff like that, like just random stuff. But it was never anything that I looked at and just said, okay, let me get involved in that. Simple History, when I was pitched, when Dan approached me about it, I said, all right, I want to commit to this. This is a great idea. And that was, and I lucked out, simple history, and then we grew from there. So, yeah. That was, but it really technically wasn't the first. I could probably go through my own YouTube feed and see the things that I've liked and stuff and favorited and added to playlists. And I think there's a couple, not many more, but there's a couple that I think I got involved in prior to that. So, yeah. I'd have to go back. I'd have to look. I'd have to do some research. But I know there was some Star Wars content. These guys were putting together these Star Wars videos about all the different villains and heroes and stuff, and he wanted me to narrate. They've since sort of rebranded. I only did a few videos for those guys, but
What were they?
they definitely
Too light for transport.
I think were before Simple History.
What were they? While the Y8.
While the why.
What were they to do? Well, take
Wait,
light for
yeah,
transport
take that out. Why did I even have that in there?
purposes.
Sorry, I'm not looking at questions. I gotta look at questions here. Whatever voice actor, a character? Well, I have in the past, but I'm not really a character actor per se. I don't develop voice characters. There's only been really two or three, maybe four different characters that I've been consistently doing, and it requires a lot of effort. It requires a lot to develop a character that's going to be consistent. And honest, I don't think that's where my skill set lies in developing a character. I'd never be opposed to doing it, but I would have to, becoming a character voice actor would require a new skill set that I would have to study up on. I would have to go and go out and take classes and talk to people that are involved with it, that can get me the information that I need. Because when you try to go down a new road with voice acting, unfortunately, I guess it's like everything. Unfortunately, they send you down the same road that you've been down 100 times before. Well, you need to look at a microphone like this, and you should be off axis, and here's your room. And they talk about things that I've already got, the skill sets that I've already got. But developing characters is a whole other challenge, especially vocally speaking, where if you want to have an accent, you have to make sure that accent is consistent. When you have a certain intonation change or a certain pitch change, you have to have control over your pitch a lot more than the way I can control my own pitch. So yeah, it's a challenge. I would like to do it more, but I don't. If the opportunity presents itself, I'll avail myself of that opportunity, but I'm not seeking it out. It's not something that I find that I get a lot of requests for. Hey, we want you to voice war. War never changes. Be a main character in the game. It's not something that I've considered.
Design.
It might be cool, but that's a lot of work.
A
lot of work. At least when I'm starting out, it would be a lot of work. Once I'd learn, I think I could be okay at it.
CH-53.
The CH-53. Simple History Discord server have events like Christmas or event. It's not up to me to create those events. The Simple History Discord is a work in progress, and it's a slow process. I have to say, it's not as fast as personally I'd like it to be, but that's because I don't own the server. But will we do events like that? Yeah, we do plan on doing events like that. Where not necessarily Christmas events or Halloween events, but we're already talking about having Jesus, what is that? Oh, guys, can you hear that? Freaking Harley Davidson parked right outside. We're talking about having sort of like a game night. It's I want to say game night. We were talking about trivia nights, but trivia nights are nearly impossible to do legit because everybody's on their phone. They just look up the answer. But we're talking about having some kind of game night that we can use, whether it be a game that we sort of all agree on, take a poll, hey, everybody, we want to do, like what we did the other day with Enlisted. We might do that with BattleBit or something else. Who knows? I think we were going to install Battlefield 1. I think they did a few streams with Battlefield 1, but it needs to be sort of scheduled, and we haven't gotten to that point yet where we're scheduling them consistently. Because it does, I will say, doing a game stream takes a bit of organization. You need to have somebody who's able to produce that content, and it does take a little bit of time. And unfortunately, I'm not the one to be able to just produce the content and get everybody on board and, be the logistics person to produce it. So I just don't have that much time. I'd like to, but I just can't. I just can't do it. Too much time. Too much time sitting in a booth talking to myself, basically.
The King Stallion is... The King Stallion...
Am I done with this? This has to be done.
Its ability...
What am I on, number 2?
Number 2.
Number 2.
The CH-53...
Oh, well.
It also features improved... 2. The Sikorsky SH-60 Seahawk. The Seahawk is a twin-turbo... The most significant the U.S. able to be deployed. It's able to be deployed aboard any air capable...
That was a weird thing. Oh, we talked about this, I think this was in Discord. So, big games. A voice actor in a big... Like being an NPC. That would be kind of cool. Like being an NPC in like some RPG somewhere. That would be fun. Or just like a sub-character. Like an ancillary character. And while that would be fun, and I would like to do that, it would require me to go down a path of... it would go down an avenue that would probably require me to become part of the union, SAG-AFTRA, the Screen Actors Guild, and all that stuff, to become a union voice actor, because I would have to have a union contract in order to get those jobs. And if I didn't, that would be bad. I'd be like a scab, and I don't want to be a scab for union actors. It is possible that one day I say, hey, I've been doing this forever. My home setup is as perfect as I can get. Because right now, my home studio is not as good as I'd like it to be. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to the way that booth sounds. Sounds good, but it's not as tight as I'd like it to be. And until I fix that, then I wouldn't even go down the road of saying, hey, I'm going to join the union. I'm going to start paying union dues, and that way I'll be able to work for union jobs. Now, here's the catch. Here's the catch-22 on being a union voice actor.
The Seahawk.
A lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now, where I get my bread and butter from, I might be precluded from doing that because I'm not being paid union wages for doing voiceover work. So I could be prohibited from doing the stuff that I really enjoy, like simple history. There's some gray area, but it would sort of be frowned upon. And
the Seahawks...
I couldn't, I don't want anything to put into jeopardy, the channels that I've worked to help grow. I don't want anything to put those channels into jeopardy. It would require renegotiation and contracts and just a lot of stuff that it's not really conducive. It's conducive to making money, but it's not really conducive to anything else. And
the Seahawks.
I don't want to be that guy.
The Seahawks.
I don't want to be that guy.
Seahawks
Right now, I don't want to be that guy. Maybe in the future, I'll be that guy.
Enhancing in both littoral and open ocean.
Littoral and literal.
Enhancing the fleet's ability.
It's another one of those Navy words. Littoral.
Enhancing the fleet's
live stream events where I talk to the community. Yeah, of course I'm going to do those. I just can't do them frequently. Was voice acting my first option when I started? So I had a number of different jobs. I was an electrician before I was full-time. I had a lot of different... so I've been voice acting since... or doing narration, using my voice to make some kind of money. Now it's a full-time income. Back when I started, I've been doing it since 2004 is when I started doing it. On and off, and making a little bit of money. And then it progressed from there. But in 2014-15 is when I said, all right, I'm going to push it. I'm going to see if I can push this to make a full-time income. And then at that time, I still had a full-time day job. And I was working, I was doing 40 hours, or more than that, 50, 60 hours a week in the day job. and another 40 hours at least doing voiceover stuff. I'd come home at night and I'd just sit and record for 6 hours, and it was crushing me. But I started realizing that I was making more money and it was way more fun and enjoyable to do the voice acting stuff. So I just pulled the pin and I said, screw it. I'm just going to focus in on the voiceover stuff full time, and just quit the day job and said, screw it. I'm doing it. I want to be a voice actor now. So it's just, it took a long time to get to that point. But once I was there, like I would say that, I would give that advice to anybody. Once you realize that you're there, just pull the trigger, just do it, see what happens. What was holding me back? Nothing was holding me back except my own fears, my own concerns about, oh, can I make it? Well, I know I can. I just put your head down and do the work, learn, and figure it out. Yeah, it's weird. My camera went off? Oh yeah, that's right. I have to change. Yeah, I got the Elgato set up. I have to make a change to that. All right, let me get up. It goes off, I think, after 2 hours. I have to freaking turn that off. Hold on. You have the Elgato set up. Look, that's the Elgato, what is it? Stream K4K something capture card. All right, hang on. Almost there. Look at that. Wait, is it in focus? Oh, there we go. There it is. I have to turn that off. Yeah, I gotta turn that off. There's a setting in my camera somewhere. Yeah. There's a setting in my camera somewhere. It used to be with Logitech, it would screw my whole stream up and I'd have to start the whole stream over again. But at least with this, it's a completely external video source, which is nice.
Why not?
In fact, actually, that was 2 hours. Yeah, I have it plugged into an external power supply, like a dummy battery, and I thought I turned that off. I thought the option, you could turn it off. I guess, well, what does it say on here? So 2 hours and 21 minutes. See how after 2 hours, I guess it shuts off. Oh well.
It's fit. The Seahawk is,
oh well,
which provides suites, including the AN.
Oh, let me get this. There we go. But 2 hours. I guess that's actually a good thing. Maybe that will motivate me to not stream as long.
The Seahawk, it's fitted with cutting-edge sensor. The Seahawk is fitted with. The Seahawk is fitted.
That's another technique that writers use that I don't like, to extend their scripts. Repeat the proper noun over and over and over and over again. Just repeat the Seahawk CH50, like every sentence. Oh, the Seahawk CH50 this, the Seahawk. It's just, stop it. Knock it off.
Capable.
Knock it off. Figure it out.
As it stands, the turboshaft engines.
All right, number one. What do we got?
Number one, the Bell Boeing V-22 Osprey.
That is a good plane, or helicopter, or both. Is that the question? Was that a plane or a helicopter, Osprey? I think it's a helicopter. Or it's a tilt rotor craft.
It's designed to combine the function.
Oh no, it's not a tilt rotor. It's a tilt prop vehicle, I think is what they call it. Tilt prop. Oh well. Osprey versus AC-130.
It's been
actually, there's not even no contest. Come to think of it, I just realized I got some weird lag there. Let me save this now that I'm actually doing that. Audition saves for me, but just in case.
Aerial refueling of other aircraft. It's able to quickly other aircraft. It's able to quickly. Additionally,
there's drama on every server. Yeah, it's there's not much I can do about it personally, and there's not much you can do without making it feel like you're part of a prison. There's drama on every single platform, period, and it's never going to be the case where you have a totally drama-free thing, because I think inherently there must be some kind of function, like an inverse relation, or not even that, just a relationship between the number of people you have on a Discord channel versus the amount of drama that you get. especially with history. It just invites people to have discussions. And in order to mitigate or control all of that, we would have to have control all of it to where there was no drama. You'd have to have a moderation staff that you'd feel like you were prison guards. Like they would come in and just do everything. Now, we have enough moderators now to be able to handle the, whatever, 3,000 or 4,000 people we have now, 3,000? I think it's 3,000. To be able to handle it. But as we grow, there needs to be more. And people have to put up with it. So, hey, if you don't like the drama, don't go on the Discord. It's like pretty much anything. You don't like it, don't use it.
Tutored.
I think we're a lot better than most, where we have some people that are respectable and the people that get through. You know, there's always going to be those assholes who get through and try to contaminate the server and with just bullshit. And I think we got a good handle on it now.
To display.
But hey, I'm not a freaking community manager, so I think we're in good shape. But a community manager would be able to tell us, are we really in a good shape? And we would have to hire one and, do all that.
To display.
So I don't know if we want to do that. As we grow, who knows? We're not trying to grow instantly fast, so it's a long burn. So we're in there for the long burn.
For takeoff and
For people get so offended easily. Yeah, it does happen. Yeah, Discord.
With the
So exactly what it is. Is it going to get any better? Who knows? But that's why one of the first things I remember. I mean, I've been around long enough, especially with Discord. I've been around since 2015 or 16. Been part of large communities, small communities, new communities, old communities that don't exist anymore. You have to let people leave, and don't discourage people from leaving the server. Initially, people were looking at, because we have a stats channel and we get to see how many people are in the channel. And we have some alerts and stuff that go off to the admins about people leaving. Like when a person leaves, what's going on? Why are they leaving? You'd think it would be bad, but it's actually a good thing, because there are certain indicators about future behavior that might come out of a user that's based on why they leave. So if they leave because nothing's going on, okay, great. It's really a community that needs people's involvement. And if you're leaving because not much is going on, like what you were talking about with events, people might leave because there's not a lot of events, or they thought it was something different than what it is, which is entirely fine. It's totally legit. However, which is why we trickled it out, which is why permissions are still being tightly controlled, because can you imagine going into actually nobody, you guys haven't even noticed it, have you? The permissions in general chat. Let me go over to general chat. Have you guys tried doing a GIF in general chat on the Discord server? Let's see. There we go. Iron Will got it. See? He got it. So I turned it on. I turned on embedding GIFs almost a week ago, I think. And nobody really noticed it. Nobody was using it. And I hadn't pointed it out. Or maybe less than a week ago. And nobody pointed it out, or nobody started using it. Because this was a way for me to gauge, has enough time passed to where the audience that's on our server now has gotten used to the fact that, oh, you can't have a GIF argument. See, there we go. See, now you're doing it. So yeah, there's ways to see whether or not your community has reached, I don't even know what the right term would be, but reached saturation, has reached a certain level of, here's what they expect. Now we go from there. And that's where we're at with Discord. At least in my opinion, that's kind of what we're doing, the arc that we're traveling. Next, it'll be sort of more community events, more, see, Red, dude, just please keep this in mind. Now that you guys know about it, please don't go crazy with it. Like, because the instructions that we gave to the mod team is, if you're using it in a way that's not, conducive towards making people feel okay, or conversely, if you're using it to sort of denigrate somebody, you're just going to be kicked. So just keep that in mind. That's all I'm saying. But nobody noticed it until I pointed it out. You guys didn't notice until I pointed it out. But try not to use it. And the instant that I start going through, because I have to go through a lot of this stuff, I go through history, chat history and stuff. The minute I start noticing, I'll just take the permissions away, because it needs to be used. It needs to be used in a way that will help the server to communicate, either funny, being fun and entertaining, or, having a good conversation, or using them properly. But if it just turns into an anti-furry movement, which there was a time there when I was concerned about that, if it starts turning into those sorts of things, it'll just get turned off again. So, yeah. Oh, I gotta turn that. I'm looking at Discord. I gotta stop looking at Discord. Yeah. Too many people? Yeah, it depends on what channel. That's the thing we're trying to find. There's another great challenge with Discord. Try to find a balance of channels. So there's a world history server. Where is it? I must have it down at the bottom somewhere. I think it's just called World History. It's huge. It's one of the biggest history channels. It's got like 20,000 people on it. They have almost too many channels, and I don't think that's a good thing. I think there should be a lot of channels, but not too many, not 50 plus channels. So yeah, it can be, you got to sort of find your niche. What do you like talking about? Games or movies or TV? We try to have enough categories to help those channels grow the server, but without being so overwhelming to a new person that they go, oh my God, Jesus, what's going on in here? Like, I've been on servers, you scroll down, there's 100 channels there. Like, what the hell am I doing? Are you going to go through all of them and figure it out? Nah, it's too much. Same thing with voice chat. That's a thing that's going to come, but it's just not ready yet. Not ready yet. I hate to say this, but we need to eliminate people first, eliminate different types of instigators, troublemakers, trolls, edgelords, all that stuff. We need to sort of eliminate as many as we can first before voice chat is even considered to be a thing. And I don't even know if that will ever happen, and quite honestly, it really shouldn't for a history discussion Discord. All right, so, geez, now that I'm done, look at that, I'm done my voiceovers. I still have to record one more after lunch, and then that'll be it. That'll be good. Sugar ice cream? Sugar ice cream? I don't know. What do you mean by that? Why don't I like sugar? I don't eat a lot of sugar anymore. But I love ice cream. I just don't have, I don't eat a ton of... I don't really eat a ton of it. If I do, I usually make it myself, but without any of the sugar. I mean, I use maybe a stevia sweetener, like a liquid stevia to help give it a little bit of sweetness, or a chocolate stevia thing to give it a little bit of sweetness. But I don't really consume a lot of sugar anymore. That's something that just love it. I just don't do it because it makes me feel like ass. Old man, things are starting to affect me like that. All right, critical listening.
Whether they're flying to bring VIPs to their next meeting or flying to transport important materials, the helicopters in today's video are the most expensive in the world. The cost of these depends on how far and how fast you want to fly. So join me for today's video. We're going to take a look at 15 of the most expensive helicopters ever made.
I'm happy with that. Happy. Processing. God, I gotta stop. Just grow a beard, shit, or get off the pot. I shaved the other day, and it's annoying the shit out of me. Told you one time that I can't go get some ice cream. Said that you don't like sugar. Yeah, I don't like sugar. But they do have sugarless ice cream. That's the thing. Or sugarless, but sugar-free. They have sugar alcohols and stuff. God, who the hell doesn't like ice cream? But I just don't eat a lot of it because the way it makes me feel. It really I'm trying to moderate my sugar intake so I don't spike, my blood sugar throughout the day. I try to, because if I have sugar, it affects me. It gives me a lot of energy, and it gets me crazy. Oh, there's Chris. Dude, what the hell? What time is it? Get out of here. YouTube delays notify uploads. That's okay. You just got the bell notification? That's okay. 2 hours. Yeah, I don't know. YouTube does that. I don't know why they do that. Honestly, I don't know why. It is pretty weird. That's weird that it gave you 2 hours. I wonder what that is. Oh, that's crit. No, World War II epic battles. That's yeah. He's that's another channel that I like to narrate for. Fantastic stuff. Actually, you want to have a good example of who's a good writer? He's a good writer. The way he writes is fantastic. So yeah, I'll just put it that way. Like it's. I found this one. I'm spoiled. I'm a spoiled voice actor or a voice person, a narrator. I'm a spoiled narrator because I've been lucky enough to be approached by people who understand the writing aspect of it. A lot of times people will approach me and I say, hey, can you send me a script first so I can read it? And there's a little bit of, there's some problems. There's some problems with the grammar or the structure of it. Like there's no flow or it's all like stream of consciousness. And it doesn't quite work. And I happen to be in a position where I can say no to a channel that approaches me with their script, and it's just not right. I have to do it. But I'm just lucky. I'm lucky enough to be in that position. That is a thing that voice actors and narrators struggle with, where you can't afford to say no to a client. I guess that took me a bit to get to where I can say, hey, no, I can't do that, or yes, I can. But I'm lucky enough to be in there. Fish. There you go. I said it. What, I snuck it into an episode. You just didn't listen close enough. You just didn't. I'm not going to ping you either when I say it. So, yeah. Vietnam War. Actually, come to think of it, I'm not going to tell you. Nope. Sorry. There is... Whoops. Let me get this window over here so I can actually see my stuff. Okay, hold on. Wait, let me get this video. Where's my chat? Okay, I'm going to move my chat so I can do this. I got to finish this voice thing. Hold on. Let me get Monday. Okay, good. No simple history stuff today. I was going to say I would have to do a simple history thing. I forgot, you guys can, yeah, you should be able to see my, wait, if I put this over here, yeah, guys, you guys can see my main monitor, not just my background. Okay.
Whether they're flying to bring VI.
Okay, I'm happy. Oh, did you see what it was? Yeah, Skyrim music. Jeremy Soule. Honestly, there's one... Actually, you guys want to hear... Hold on, let me get this on deep ambience. There is one thing. Let's see. Yep, there it is. There is this one. Can you guys hear that? Hold on. You have to have good speakers. This is if you have a good audio setup, like good speaker, good cans, good speakers or whatever, this is, it's just a pulsing deep sub bass with just like a synth, like an ambience. This is super relaxing to me, where there's no melody, but there's a pulsing sort of a rhythm, and it puts me in a... You have to have good speakers though, because that sub is just nice and crispy. It's good. But anyway, that's another one. But that one I don't think I can get in trouble for having that, because I don't think anybody's going to know what the hell that is. Well, I guess they could. YouTube's algorithms are pretty good with that. But I go back to Skyrim. Skyrim's better. I mean, it's Skyrim, for Christ's sake. Oh, done. Oh, you know what? Oh, I gotta do that all over again, do I? Yeah, I do, don't I? If you guys notice how compressed this WAV file is, I guess it's not that compressed. I gotta stop it. I gotta go back. And I have to change. Too much limiting. Too much audio limiting. 8 dB of gain and limited to -1 dB. And then I adjust from there. I usually go down. It usually comes in at around 20 LUFS, which is exactly where I want it. Loudness units, in case anybody's wondering what that is. You know what he just said there. Even if you did have one, it'd be too busy to monitor. Yeah, it is. It's too busy. It's too much time. It's too much time to monitor. Yeah. Like honestly, I spent the first weeks, not even that, before our Simple History Discord server went live. It was up for a month, and I was putting in quite a bit of time to try to get channels and permissions and get the structure of the channel in place before we went live. And then I'm like, oh God, this is going to take a lot of monitoring because we got no mods yet. So we started the mod process and then realized that even then I would have to dump a bunch of hours into it. And it's too much. If you got a full-time job, it's almost too much to do because you just spend too much time. So you try to put in automated catches, bots, and hire mod teams from different time zones and stuff. In fact, actually, I think we're still bringing on one more mod for Simple History. We're looking for like a West Coast, I think it's West Coast time zone, California, Pacific time zone, or that area, so we can have a little bit of overlap because there's a bit of time where we don't have anybody looking at the server to keep those assholes out. Yeah, video game OSTs are way safer to stream. Way safer. Oh, I just noticed something. What does it say? Error. I need to change the video resolution. The video resolution is blah, which is not supported for this configuration. What? You guys can see me. You can hear me. No idea. I don't know. I don't have it on ultra low latency. Maybe that's what it is. The ultra low latency, which is like, I think it's less than 2 seconds or something. But you guys are it's pretty quick enough. I think you can only have, I think that's what it is. Ultra low latency can only be streamed at 1080p. I think, which is this should be 1440, I think is what I'm streaming at. I think. Yeah, 1440 at 60. Yeah. Actually, why the hell am I doing 1440? Just wasting bandwidth. Oh well. No reason to. Oh, cool. That's good. That's a good update. Thank you for telling me about that. Yeah. I'm going to say Dawdison. Welcome aboard. Even though technically, dude, I'm sorry. We're like at the end here. We're like coming to the end because once I'm done processing this audio, I have to take a break to have some lunch because I don't know what the hell time is it. So I'm like 3 hours past my lunch break. What is it? Yeah, it's 3 o'clock. It's 3 p.m. I'm like 3 hours late for my lunch. Yeah, let me know how that goes, Chris. It'd be interesting to see how the reception is. How that goes for you. Like how they if they like it, that sort of stuff. I'd be curious. I'm sure they're gonna like it. Freaking Skyrim. That's much better. See, that waveform, it's a lot more dynamic. But I forgot one last thing before I do. We gotta do this. Little deplosive action. Yeah, oh yeah, if you're gonna be there, record some videos. That's one thing I gotta do with this camera. So I've been taking this camera out and taking some pictures and stuff, and it's the camera and lens I spend way too much on, but it takes phenomenally sharp images, like really good images. And I started taking some test videos and stuff of just different products and different things, and god damn, it takes amazing 4K video. Like I can do some slow-mo stuff, and I've been thinking about taking this video out to try to capture some video footage of some places around here. Like we have something in Rhode Island called the Newport Naval Museum, which is it's Newport. I mean, this is like it's the Naval Undersea Warfare College for the United States is in my state. And I've been down there multiple times before, but go down there and capture some nice 4K footage of some some naval stuff would be very interesting. I like to do that, just to get a sense of capturing some cool-looking video. I gotta spend less time on video and more time on audio. Yeah, no, I saw your message. Yeah, I saw your message pop up on. Whoop. Oh, did I press the wrong button? Oh, do we want to do Fruity Loops? What do we got? I'm still working on my. Let's see. Where is it? Do I have it? Strings? I'm still working on my strings melody. Where's my strings melody? This one. I added. That's probably way too loud. I added some drums to it, some jazz beat to it. So I got like maybe 10 bars in with that pattern or with one pattern, and I gotta actually do more. I gotta stop making music. That's one thing I want to do more is make music. Too much time. Will Simple History make a video about the Prague Spring or Soviet Warsaw Pact invasion of Czechoslovakia? I'm gonna bring this. Look, so I'm gonna bring this right up on screen so I can actually read the damn thing. Will we do a video about that? I can't guarantee that we have not done one about that specific event, but we've received that. So if you see on our Discord, we have that suggestions form, I guess. We've received it on there a number of times, and it's been put in the pipeline. I can't talk more about it, but events in that particular time frame are in the works. That's all I'll say. There's a few. So we're doing. Well, I don't want to say it's a trend, but we're starting to produce a little bit more. I guess this is weird to say. We're producing more Soviet content, and we're doing one. I just was speaking about it the other day, about the August 1991 Russian coup. With Yeltsin and Gorbachev. So we're doing some things on that. I don't know when that's going to be coming out, but I've already redone. I know they're working on the animation and stuff right now. But I noticed there's a few other in the pipeline regarding Soviet USSR type things. And just stay tuned. Yeah, stay tuned. More to come on that. Like, I can't really talk about stuff like that, but more to come. But that Discord forum or that Discord survey that we put out, keep putting stuff in there because it seems to be getting a lot of good information from the producers that want to say, hey, what is the audience looking for? And they're utilizing that information, which is good, to see how many times something gets said. Like, I mean, obviously don't go in and spam it, but it actually is giving us some good ideas that what people want to see. At least what the core, because the people on Discord are guys like the core audience, the diehards, the ones that really want to know all things Simple History. So it's nice to get that kind of feedback. I think he's going to be putting out a poll on the main channel. I don't know. I can't remember when he said he was doing that, but I know there's a poll. So stay in the community tab. Yet another feature that YouTube doesn't like to put out there. Nobody gets notified of community stuff. You just got to happen to go there. So unless you got notifications turned on, you won't see it. But he puts on polls every now and then with that. So, wait, will I do the narratings on my video as well? Wait, who? On what videos? What videos? On those? Possibly. It depends. So we're not on a rotation. Think of it like this. There's a ratio of. So we have, technically there's 4 voice actors. Technically, there's really only 3 main ones. It's sort of like a ratio. It's like 2 to 1 to 1. So I do 2 for every one that one of the other guys does, and he does 1 for every one of that one. So it's like a 2 to 1 to 1 kind of ratio. So I'm primarily the main narrator, but I just don't do every single one of them. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Hopefully Chris does his own narration. Get him to do his own narration, not just me. Tell him he should do his own narration. You're going to take video of that. You got to do your own narration, man. Don't get me to do it. Come on. Everybody doesn't want to do their own narration. A lot of people, it's why I have a business, because people don't want to do their own narration. That's why. All right, let's save this one. Oh, you guys tell me. I got a voice sample I use as a reference voice sample. His name is Crispin Freeman. Fantastic voice actor. I mean, yes, he's a legend in my world. Let me save that. I think I got him saved in here as a reference. He's got a fantastic, well, when you have good ears and you have good cans and stuff and studio setup, you can hear a person's studio when they're talking, and he's got a fantastic sounding studio. I mean, he treats his audio very, very lightly. Where is it? Did I even have him in here? Crispin? No Crispin. No Crispin? Let's open it up. Crispin. Maybe not. Crispin. Where's Crispin? There's Crispin. So you guys give me. I'm gonna shut this off. Tell me what you guys think of this voice. Tell me how good this voice sounds. Whoops. Wait.
Hi there. My name is Crispin Freeman, and I'll be your guide through the world of voice acting. If you'd like to know more about me, feel free to check out my personal website at www.crispinfreeman.com. Welcome to the second part of my interview with voice actor and voice director Greg Chun.
What a great voice.
You may be familiar with his acting work in games like the Judgment series, World of Warcraft, Mists of Pandaria.
So I will say that's a sample from one of his podcasts, and I love the sound of his booth. Fantastic sound, and I use this as a reference. Like, you can see, if you look at the spectrum, you can see what he does to his voice. You can sort of interpret what he does. Doesn't use a lot of compression, very little EQ. But yeah, freaking love it. And hopefully I'm getting close to sounding like that. I don't want to say I'm using him, but he and I have something similar in our voices, where we got that deep fundamental. Like, his fundamental is really low, and the same thing with mine. And yeah, he's fantastic. But I try to use that as a voice to sort of process some. There's another one, Keith David. I had a video on Keith David when I was doing an EQ match. I mean, just Keith David. You just have to know who Keith David is, because he was awesome. I love the sound of his voice. Fantastic, epic sounding voice. And I got a great recording of him doing some voiceover for some commercials and stuff. And it's one that I use constantly. But yeah, I try to get in there. And I want to say I'm copying them. But hey, if you find something that sounds good, emulate it as best you can. And do what you need to do. Yeah. Everybody, how many do I gotta get out of here? What time is it? I gotta eat. Okay. Yeah, each voice does have a niche. Yeah. He has a hero voice, by the way. He's got a yeah, it's a hero voice. It's like if you were to think of a hero or somebody important and great, it kind of sounds like that. I am different. I sound like the anti-hero, like the antagonist. Not that he's like the protagonist. I'm like the antagonist in a story. I'm the guy that is going to come after you and kill you, and he's like the one that will save you from evil. So yeah, it's fun. I have to think about it in terms like that. I do. I have to. Anyway. Guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I'm gonna end the stream, because I've been doing this for 3 hours. Firefighter saving a family of kittens from a fire voice. No, but policeman, Superman, yes. But even he, I think, said, I can't remember, listening to his podcast, I think he's even talked about that, where there's certain types of niches that his voice falls into, and I think maybe it might have been Batman that he said it wouldn't necessarily work with, like, well, Batman, yeah, I guess my voice might work better with Batman, but his voice would work better with Superman or a hero archetype. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I think he's even talked about that. I want to go back and listen to some of his podcasts about that, because he doesn't do a lot of self or introspection on his own stuff. He really does do like an interview podcast about voice actors and stuff. So it's good stuff. You can be in, I'll put it this way. That guy's been in everything. He's been in World of Warcraft. He's been in games. I mean, animes. God, I think he cut his teeth doing anime voiceovers originally. So yeah, he's been in everything. I am already at a point right now in my life where I've pretty much been typecast as a certain type of sound until a bigger production comes along and says, hey, let's do something with that sound. So I've kind of already been there. Oh, look at this. Hey, dude, Adam, thank you. Adam20 English. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. But thanks for joining. It sucks you joined this late because I'm like getting ready to end the stream. I've been doing this for what, 3 hours? Yeah, coming up on 3 hours. Good God. But yeah, getting ready to end the stream, and we're gonna call it. I'm gonna try to do this again a little bit more frequently, probably on the weekends because I just don't have enough time during the week to do it. But yeah, so it's all good. All right, no more Skyrim music. No more Skyrim music. Yeah, I'm going to end the stream now. Sorry, yeah, I've been going on for about 3 hours just doing some editing and stuff. You're welcome to go back. I know this will post. I don't know how long after it goes, but I know it'll post on YouTube after I'm done ending it. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. You guys take care, huh? All out. See ya.